Sasa kama anataka kuniharibia, sijui tutafanyia yeye nini. Amwaje ni bagola kabisa. So like I want to say, unknown to many of us, we as the national leaders also meet the members of parliament. We have had regular meetings. They have invited me. We have had an opportunity to meet the president on several occasions, and we have put across the interests of the county. And one of the things that we put across to the president at one time was the issue of electrification, last mile connectivity, and directives were given that happens in Baringo County. So as we speak now, there is a plan to put last mile electrification, especially in sub-counties that traditionally have got limited electricity like TRT, parts of Baringo North and Baringo South. I think Mogotio and Elamaravin are not too bad. So yes, we have had opportunities to meet as a national team. I think there was a meeting that we had in Merika Hotel in Nakuru at some point where we discussed those issues. So Honorable Kosgei, I don't want you to go and tell the colleague members of parliament that they have deliberately not come here. Secondly, I am aware that there are meetings of chairmen of committees in parliament in Mombasa, where Mheshimiwa Sirma is attending a meeting there. Mheshimiwa Makilap is also attending another meeting there. She specifically told me that he'll be attending a meeting there. Honorable Kandia is out of the country in Germany. Honorable Cheptumo is indisposed. So you can see that it is not because they didn't want to come here. It is because of reasons beyond their even the women rep also is in Mombasa. So I know that we really desire to have the leaders here. And please tell them that we are very desirous that they become part of the leadership in Baringo County. We as members of the county assembly and the members of the executive of Baringo County would be very happy to get your association and listen to us so that we can pass this communication to the relevant authorities. So without much ado, I want to say sincerely thank you for finding time to come and share with us. Please do pass our message of regards, and that Baringo County is solid with all these gentlemen and women focusing on nothing else other than improving the quality of lives of our citizens. Finally, of course, Bishop Koske is not only a senior citizen in terms of being Bishop Emeritus, he is a member of the National Assembly representing this county in a special capacity as a nominated member of parliament. Not only a nominated member of parliament, but also a person with disability and a very vocal and very eloquent speaker. Karibu sana, ndugu Bishop Koske. We want him to ooze the wisdom that he normally oozes whenever he goes to other counties. You know, a prophet is not seen or recognized in his own backyard. If you go to Nandi and they have a problem, they will always call upon Bishop Kosgei to come and speak to them and resolve some of the disputes and challenges that happen there. Karibu sana.
A better round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Honorable Bishop Emeritus Dr. Jackson Kosgei. Karibu sana boy.
Asante sana. Your Excellency, the Governor of our great county of Baringo, Honorable Benjamin Cheboy, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Baringo, very jovial and promising one of our young men in this county, the Speaker of the County Assembly, Vincent, the Leader of Majority, the House Leadership entirely, members of the County Assembly, and also executive members of the county leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First of all, as the governor has, from the beginning, has given the apology of my colleagues, members of parliament, we have spoken with them, and including the area member of parliament, Charles Kamuren, and all of them, because of our commitment. Right now is a process of budget making in the country. And if you are not there, you may lag behind. We agreed as members of parliament that we want to further interrogate the budget of this country, because discovered budget begins with departments and presentations by various constituencies and agencies earlier on before it comes to parliament. And we discovered that we needed to interrogate it at a very early stage. We are trying to catch up with it. And this time round, in our last meeting in Nairobi, we agreed that all of us who are in various committees should be able to be available because of the supplementary budget coming up when Bunge opens. So because of that, they are not with us. They are in Mombasa, all of them. And we have agreed, and I had to escape one committee meeting for this morning in Nairobi to join you. I said, let me excuse myself to join you today. So on behalf of all of them and on behalf of the area MP, he has given me all the powers of the MP. So any question you have and any anger you have, you can now release it on me on their behalf, and I will really share with them. So I bring the apologies and best wishes for this meeting. That's number one. Number two, looks like it's not popular, even that one. When we want to secure resources, don't you think that is popular? You wanted them to come without going that one? It is a very serious choice. So secondly, I want to congratulate, and I spoke to the speaker last night. We had a long a-tete up to almost 2 o'clock in the evening with a number of MCAs. He really bombarded me with a lot of questions, and I really felt that I am at home. I want to congratulate you, the leadership in our county, for calling for this meeting. I'm sure the governor remembers that we are really interested, and we have discussed at length, that we need to have a county leadership consultative meeting, and I think this is the right time to begin, and you have done very well. Thank you so much, Speaker, for doing that. Thank you. You are our host today. So I'm looking forward for the governor to call us now, and we bring all the professionals, community leaders, spiritual leaders, political leaders. We all come together. Then we'll be able to share and discuss about Baringo we want in days to come. If you can do that, Mr. Governor, I tell you, you will have done the best for us, and you have laid a foundation for future generation. You and I and others of our generation, we are running against time. We are soon exiting the stage to watch from home. When you are at 70 plus, you are discussing that we want to share the strength we still have by having you people have enough of us as we prepare for that. But I think, Baringo, we need to prepare the next generation properly so that God of heaven and the Spirit of time will be kind to all of us and be able to make Baringo great in days to come. Thank you so much. I like the theme of this meeting attracted my attention. I am a student of the science in leadership and management progressively. And when I looked at the theme of this conference, this summit, strengthening leadership to improve governance, it attracted my attention. I want to share with you in 3 dimensions this afternoon. First, I want to share from the dimension of motivation. I want to motivate you as a leader. Second, I want to speak to the theme of today from the practical, intellectual, and scholarly approaches in terms of dissecting leadership itself as it embraces all leaders from different sectors that makes a society solid and competitive amongst other communities. And the last dimension that I'm going to share with you is the moral dimension of leadership, which appeals to our conscience, our societal values, our own cultural strength that forms the basis of our identity as a catalyst of our who we are. Because there are 2 things that make civilization rise and fall. One is the sound or the financial, what you call the fiscal policy of any civilization, the capacity to collect revenue in order to do 3 things. One, to meet the obligation of what you can call the payment of recurrent expenditure in a country, to be able to pay salaries of your own people and people who render service to your own organization. Second, to be able to do development, which relates to infrastructure and also exploitation of potential wealth in that country that or county that translated into capital for the purpose of enriching and creating wealth for the people. And finally, that particular fiscal policy must be able to pay debts. You must be able to meet your debt obligation. The second thing that makes great and raises people to become strong, it has been historical observation of about 6,000 years ago related to the empires that rose and came down. The second thing is what they call the national pride. You have patriotism in it, the love of a country, a sense of ownership, and which is spread. That when everyone rises up, he feels it is his own country. He's proud to be who he is. He's proud to be a Kenyan. He loves that country. So because of that, I will come from the 3 dimensions, presenting it in one presentation. That's how I intend to do. That helps me to summarize and organize my thoughts together. Finally, I recognize that largely today I'm speaking to the political class. Earlier on, You know, I had one of the officers talk about the meeting is becoming political, and sometimes, yeah, you can't escape. Life is politics. Even in the church, we have politics, Reverend. Bishop was telling me he's attending a synod meeting for tomorrow, Kamuren. That is politics, tupu. And the only difference is that in religion, we are guided by moral conviction, and you are being all the time invited to visit your conscience and to make decision based on what we call more of internally than expectation of the public. So it is political. And without politics, you cannot survive, because that is, if you cannot inculcate politics so that you can debate, then you are encouraging people to fight physically. You know, that is what replaced fighting. Why communities have left guns and they are no longer fighting is because it has been translated to be the war of words. So whoever knows how to speak better wins the day. And so sometimes you get surprised of those who win. And because of that, I want to share with you some of the sayings before I share the real concepts that I have with you. Somebody by the name Maya Angelou. I was discussing with Nelly when she was entertaining me, waiting for my time, and she reminded me, I was looking for these words, who said it and how it was said. Nelly, I found it. Thank you so much. She said Maya Angelou was an American writer. He wrote several books. She was a memoirist. She knows how to write memos. And she was a poetess. She was a dancer. She was a musician. And then she said this, and I quote, "I have learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel." End of quote. It doesn't matter how much, as a politician, do not link development to a cycle of election, because election is determined by other parameters beyond what you do. Development is about improvement of your people, and it must be an intentional action that you want to see the difference in your society, but not about election. You may do so much. We have met, I joined a service in the church as a young evangelist at 20, sometimes mid-70, 1974 to be particular, on the July. And I was ordained as a young minister, what you call it, lay minister in 1977, and so on, towards the end of Kenyatta's leadership. And then throughout, I became a very dynamic, I went to school only to learn English because I had not gone to school anyway. I went to learn the language. And by the time I was in Cabernet Boys, I had almost all my children, and I used to take my report to them. So we meet, we bring reports, the children are coming, we bring to my wife, and they are bringing to their mother. So she was mkubwa ya kupokea habari. But during that time, to date, I saw people cry when they lost elections. As a pastor, I comforted them. We had a moment of praying with them. Some of them did very well, in fact, but they lost it. When Edward, and may God rest his soul in eternity, when he came to power, he was a nominated member of parliament in 1966. 1969 to 1969. 1969, we had a contest between two brothers, cousins, William and Eric. 1974, Edward Kiptanui became the member of parliament of the then South Baringo. And for 15 years, if there is anyone who brought about change in leadership of South Baringo, was Edward Kiptanui. Completely, we don't say because he passed on, but and I said in his when condolences the other day that two things I knew about him. Number one, and we respect him forever for that. Number one is that for Moi to become president is the man who stood with him in his lowest moment. In 1976, Mzee Moi was coming from Kampala after OAU, and he was mistreated beginning from 1975 after J.M. Karaoke died. The son of Kenyatta, Muigai, slapped Moi at parliament as an assistant minister and told him he was misleading the House by saying J.M. Karaoke had gone to Zambia, blah, blah. When he was coming back from Uganda, he had decided to resign. On the way, he called Kiptanui and he said, come home. And then, to cut the story short, is the one who grabbed his hand when he was holding the pen, threatening to resign. I graded and we graded it. Nobody heard it, but now let us say the truth now. So let me tell you what happened. So that man stood. Number two, I respect him for respect. I mean, the man was loyal to his friends. When he became MP, he never forgot his own Pauleiwe Chigimitul Akturonoki. In 1977, they had KLT Dansan. Almost all of them. 404, the Bartenge, Mondara, all those people. Kinagachogo, that man established, he tried his best. But in 1979, no, he won 1979. 1983, he also won. And from there, 1988, and he tried, but even those he helped were telling them, boy, mamingala. So be intentional, member of county assembly, in the service of your people. Don't hunger your efforts on saying, if I do this one, I will come back. Do it because you are a leader now. This statement by Angelo is that people are more concerned about emotions attached to the leadership that serves them. That are you close to them? Do they feel you? In the book of Proverbs, allow me, because I have a background in the church and you are mostly Christians. I went through Baringo, Joshua 2000, which shows statistics of how societies are. Basically, Baringo is a religious county. Baringo is so religious more than several counties, where evangelical churches and Catholics, I never knew, they are forming more than 50% of the total population. And the rest are smaller churches, so Christian churches in this county, they all form 95%. So if you want to rule Baringo, one of the natural social connection is to appreciate the role the church can do in influencing what you do. May I repeat that? If you want to cause change in this county, you do so using areas they can religiously or morally submit easily. The reason why, without proper explanation, kutukuti biga Baringo gole giwech ne in aram ngorot ngorot kilya isege on jita ka magnyo yogot kat, because of that religious conviction. But once you give them the facts, they will agree with you. Lakini ngomengololje kumenyoru. So, if you want to strengthen leadership of your people, you should understand those areas you can easily use it to the advantage of leadership. And one such is what you can call the natural social connection. In the book of Proverbs, religious, because our people are religious, allow me to read these words of Solomon, 29:2. Quote, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. This leads me to what someone said, how do you and what do you understand about leadership? Because when we talk about leadership, we are not necessarily referring to one leader. We are not talking about the governor of Baringo County, and we are not talking about the speaker of the county assembly, and we are not talking about you in your corner as an MCA or what do you call a CEC or a CEO or wherever it is. But I'm talking about all leaders in various sectors brought together. Of course, politics and political leaders plays a very vital role in becoming the center of what you call leadership. As a politician, you have an exceptional central and pivotal role because of the three roles you have: representation, oversight, and what else? Legislation. That gives you unlimited access and presence over everything and anything, with a lot of privilege in law, where professionals may not be able to enjoy. So as a politician, you are able to gravitate, create a gravitas which can attract others to spin and create their worth and make their contribution be felt. You have the capacity of making certain families disappear and have other families rise up. Political leader has the power, and I saw it. When Eric and Kiptanui were serious protagonistic group, camps, we felt it as a community. I come from a sub-tribe of Lembus. Majority of us were with Eric Bomet, and the rest of South Baringo was with Kiptanui. Let me tell you, the families and people gravitated around that Mheshimiwa when we were resisting ourselves, waiting for a leader who never came. We waited, but they continued. They were able to progress, and we diminished in terms of progress because of that resistance. As a spiritual leader, I discovered such a political leader has power, even in your own word. Don't busy yourself about securing the seat in the next election. Come on, do with what you have now. Those are the powers you have now. You are the leader now. Don't live in tomorrow. Live now. You are the one. This is what you have. Don't be intimidated about that future. That will be decided by the spirit of the moment. Some people who think they are strong, they will be surprised the last minute. When our governor shall finish this term, we would want him to come and be a lecturer and tell us, because he has won, he has lost it, And he has won again. What the hell in hell happened? He did not expect people can be that cruel. I remember we shared the last the 2 weeks before election. He called me at 6 in the morning and he asked me, Bishop, how do you see these things happening? And we discussed and we were wondering because nobody would judge correctly and say he had done wrong because he was the one founding the county. He's among the pioneers. And no one had the script. For fairness' sake, we should have allowed him to go the second time to finish what he thought he understood about this monster called devolution. But we became the champions and say, you did not understand how to implement it. Let us put ours the way we want. Then, midterm, the same characters are beginning to call the new governor his master. Sijui what they call Najua. So one day I got mad and I took to the podium and I spoke to our community and thank God they listened to me. And I said, for God's sake, respect the leader. We elected him. He has our votes. Let us wait for 5 years. Then when we finish, we elect the person we want. Now, Chebo, you're back. Now, write a book so that you can help us tomorrow. What happened? You see? And I thought he was a fine public servant. And he did very well. And I wanted to say this, my friends. Leadership is therefore a set of mindset. This is what the scholars have agreed to give us a simple, and I want to give you a very simple definition of it. Leadership is a set of mindsets and behaviors that aligns people in a collective direction. Yani, if you can mobilize your society to be able to move in one direction. Today, the most privileged sub-county that can do that while closing their eyes is Tiati. Leadership. They can create a mindset and behaviors which can align people, their own community, in a collective direction. And I want to tell you, members of County Assembly from Tiati, take advantage. Kabla wajuaji wafike. Guide your people to the right direction. That enables them to work together and accomplish shared goals and helps them to adjust to the changing realities because things will never be the same. It will change. If we are to progress as Baringo, I want to tell you, and the theme of my speech today is that leadership matters. The reason why we should strengthen is because leadership matters. Perhaps because we are at home, Governor, allow me to make this observation and challenge us as leaders in Baringo. When devolution came, we never had time as Baringo County and leadership in Baringo to sit down like we have sat today and ask ourselves, from here, where do we go? We did not discuss. So we allowed His Excellency, the governor, to grapple with this government and think, but I wish we discussed. I wish we came together. Baringo, we are a cosmopolitan county. Tugen's community is the majority, but we have the minority community, Jamus. We have the Tiati brothers from the Pokot. We have the minorities from other tribes around Eldama Ravine and several other areas. Where do we want to go from here? And what are the deliverable flagship projects that we should have in the next decade? We have received, I'm sure, on the average, graduating from 3 billion, was it 3 billion, the first one? 3 billion to today, slightly 7 billion. We can work on it and average it, so we can say about 5 billion by year, or yeah, we can average it to that because the difference is a bit, let's say 5 or 4. But let us put 5 because of easy mathematics. I'm not a mathematician. I am a social scientist. I think in 12 years, yeah? Yes, in 12 years, we are having 60 billion. But because we did not have priorities which were clear, smart, achievable, that we could say for the next 5 years, we want 5 flagship projects to be completed. And we agree as county, and we go for the, what you call public participation. We challenge, then we would have succeeded in 2 things: achieving a project that succeeds, and then enable the government of Baringo to use all the monies required. Because of us staggering, and then when we come to the county, we have our own push and pull. Today, we would be, some counties tried to do that, to pull together. And that comes as a result of not depending on the governor alone. It takes every one of us. We are I was asking the speaker and our team last night, Governor. I asked them, when you are playing your role of oversight, you must challenge yourself. What is it that you are oversighting yourself? What are you oversighting? Kigo chomye chine. Kigo sine chine. Sige lerab chiboy. Mai toligi kimache. How do you oversight? In government, as I'm going to share with you, there is what they call statescraft. Statescraft has 3 components, which is cascaded down. As a scholar of governance, one professor wrote, and he talked about, for any successful leadership, he must enjoy a byproduct of a system that brings about 7 dimensions in realizing the goals of governance. And he gave the following. 1, for a government to work, it must have a strategy. It must have a strategy. And that strategy is a plan. I think that is simple terms. Sun Tzu, who wrote the book, The Art of War, he said, strategy without tactics is a long route to victory, yet tactics without strategy is a noisy route to failure. Kelele pepe, yani kona ya kukata kona, itile kona, gomi mwauditab gole njini kagile masire kible kwet, geme uswagi goying, kenam. The second thing is structure. The third thing is the scope of government and of workload and of the project, of the kind of formation that you would like to carry you. The fourth thing is the size. The other one is the scope. How far can you go? How can you extend yourself? And then he mentioned the staff and skills, so that we don't even employ people kwa kujuana. Yani igochin newo were mi weritab sangenyu nemi gaa netebie buch. Ara ibwe biik chetebisot buch konyo kokweri nyaliltab koroni. We rather have them stay at home sikecheng biik cheyoe kasi koyai kasi. Sikochengchi tuguk cheome. Umaokaswan oe. Isutunye chi nematinye kito neyoe amingen kit nemache koyai akinyo ikereng marinda kusyoto amobor ng'wong. Let us look for skills. Chito nemuche akinde kotepe yoto. I don't care the damn whether he comes from my neighborhood or he comes from the other one, for long as he makes this institution called government to work. Kilazimisa ngavana kele ngomesir ikose tungo yoit. Akose ne, ndakekas. Kisire nage nekikose. Yani nyuko walge chito tutaonana wakati huo. Tuonane. Sirengene sena aksena. Sindio? We must be bold. But you see, we must be bold, my brother. Don't fear. In TRT, this question of saying, being branded to be bandits, to be whatnot, what will change TRT is the leaders, the leadership of TRT. Professor Howard Gardner, in a book, and I recommend you buy for yourself. You can buy it soft one, or you can go and buy. In fact, Textbook Center has it. Has the one of the books called The Leading Minds. He has written several of them, but he wrote one called The Leading Minds, and he has he's calling The Leading Minds: The Anatomy of Leaders. He has 11 characters, which includes Margaret Thatcher, Margaret Meads. These are the characters, even the civil rights movement, Roosevelt, and so on. He said this: all societies remain amorphous not until leadership comes to provide divination. End of quote. Also, he adds the following, that the history of the world is not about common men, but it is the history of leaders as they divine their generation. So, Tugene, you cannot know Tugen in history. Nobody knows Tugen in nobody knows. The people who are known, you can Google them. Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. Pultut was a chairman of county council. Mayor Chelagat, blah, blah. MP Willie Kamuren, who was an MP of TRT, Baringo East, before he came to North. Osea Kiblakat, yes. Paul Tergat, people who have played an outstanding. When history shall be written 100 years to come, all these other characters, Charlie Jininye, Ingelegere Mat, Magereji in history, they will disappear into the rubbish pit of history. So it is your time to write. It is your time to write the pages of history and guide your people, not what they feel good about. If you allow me, I will do that. And I'm a party MP, and therefore I speak the mind of the center of government, and I will share with you. I know you may want the other S, which is known, is run. Is it an open government? It's usually justice is there, but justice is either given or denied. I got mad one time as a bishop. We have several advisors as a chief executive of the church. And one morning I woke up and I said, I'm reading the book of Jeremiah chapter 9, 23 and 24. I'm speaking about justice. So my diocesan chancellor, that's a lawyer, took me through the law. He said, Bishop, before you speak and before you write your message, would you allow me to have a sitting with you? I said, yes, sure, tell me. And then I sat down and he told me, Bishop, justice is never absent all the time. I said, that's true. And why is not given? Well, John, it is either given or denied. My mind spin, and he said, let me give you what they call jurisprudence in guiding the law. I said, well, how does it happen? He said, listen, allegations, a judgment is a product of the following process. And I listened, I became a student. Number one, allegation. You know, allegation. You had some allegations going on even today here. He said, allegations. That is unproven claims, apportioning of certain mistakes and negligence, and so on, right? Allegations. Plus evidence, plus the law, plus environment of making decision. It might be necessary intelligently that if that justice is given to you, it will hurt more people and give you the enjoyment of that justice. Yet, if you are denied at that time and allowed to appeal in the next court, by the time you get your justice, we have saved the general public and we save you now. Do you hear that? So, sometimes, par chibita, that means par agi chibit. The other one is what they call it. I don't know, Olega Gimon, umesikia hiyo? Unajua kuna neno la Kimasai, olo sek? Unajua hiyo? Tactics. They say, then in politics, there is a second one. Hiyo ya parchipita is what I've explained in English. Justice is present, but you are denied to save the majority. Then the second is olo sek, yeah, ngom gong natet, where you deny without denying. It is common in diplomacy. The language of France, French people, they speak that language, where they deny you without appearing to have denied you. They will tell you, I think you need to go back and check. There is something amiss we are looking for. And they have it. And they know it. By the time you go, by the time you come back, you find another officer and not the first one. When you arrive, they say, can you let us check for the one who was handling this case? Who was he? And then there are moments of, let me not go for that one, they call all betters. It is a bit serious. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. Kapetesne. Yani, have you ever heard where vijana wanasema ukicheza nitapita na wewe? Yeah. Okay. Anage, anguga nae. Yani, you know, there are times when in parliament, people do things you will never believe they can do it. And they make parliament to stop. And you don't know what is happening. Kumbe, there is something that needs to be avoided. And yet it has become necessary and it has positioned itself in a very privileged way, and that government was going to lose or the country can fall into a ditch. Something happens. You wouldn't like me to tell you that. Those are intelligent issues. You remember, can I tell you one? It was during the repeat of election of 2017. You remember what happened on the 25th of October when the churches were to come and make a ruling. When one judge came out in the morning and he found that his usual driver has been changed. And the security is different. And their look is threatening. He had to go back. Do you still want me to explain? I'm talking about governance. Did you say about strengthening leadership for stronger governance? But you see, it must be within the law, isn't it? One of the judges was in Mombasa and he could not come. The flight was not available. The rest is history. Because if we had allowed that to happen, there was going to be bloodshed in the country. So you must act in a manner that you ensure public good. Public good. You see, you hear people talking about agitation, freedom. You remember during the freedom in 1900, one emancipated slave walked through the streets of Azusa, and he was lifting his hand and saying, "Oh, freedom, freedom over me, freedom." And soon he knocked the nose of a white man. And then he drew the can and he said, "Listen, my friend, your freedom ends where the beginning of my nose sticks out. Yeah, that is the boundary. You are not free beyond there." So some freedoms got some limits. You can't be free to destroy a country. You can't be free to destroy the county of Baringo. You can't be free to talk anything that will embarrass and make Baringo collapse. Even when you are exposing, even our members of the press, for example, you learn from your counterpart in Europe. They don't write everything. In fact, they avoid showing some of the serious scenes and they blur them. Ours report every detail, even the way somebody has been chinjwad. And you know, the next moment, people can go to the street. In 2007, one of the things that exaggerated bloodshed in the country was the media, because it lacked patriotism. If you are to be the leader and encourage, leadership demands that you act with a lot of due care about what can come out. I want to conclude with two things so that we can have some few questions. Is that one, everything, this is what John Maxwell said, everything rises and falls on leadership. You cannot go around complaining, hii watu yangu ya Mogotio, or watu yangu ya Central, watu yangu ya Baringo North, watu yangu ya ward ya Bartabwa, sijui ward ya wapi, unasimama mbele ya watu. And you are lamenting and saying, hawa watu yangu, hawa, namna hii. Everything, let me tell you, falls, it rises and falls on the feet of a leader. And may I repeat that? If you hear a leader being a victim of his own people, then he is the wrong leader to be there. And God put you there because you are a curse to them. If you are a blessing to them, you will always and constantly be looking for the answer. And don't expect everybody to love you. Even the Son of God, who was healing the sick, was betrayed by one of his apostles. Some of your peers will betray you. Even your own clansmen will betray you. In Parliament today, some of those who are members of Parliament, some of them were peers of former members of Parliament. While he was issuing CDF, he was building himself and pulling down his friend. Some of the people you work with, you think they are friends, they are pulling you down. Come on. If Jesus was not spared, who are you? No, don't mind about that. Do what is right. All the time, do what is right. When Maxwell said that, leadership therefore matters because nothing comes to success without leadership. The second thing I want to share with you in conclusion, as I give you some few thoughts, is that leadership matters because people matter. It has always been, it will be, it is, as long as people are and they matter, then leadership matters. So whoever was telling our young men, the Gen Zs the other day, you become tribeless, leaderless, rudderless, is an enemy of our children. And I have got no apology about it. That is not the right thing to give to our children. Whoever told them that you will be leaderless, you will be tribeless, you will be less, fearless. There is no one in the world who can survive without a little fear. You have to have kidogo. I come from a very courageous lot of family, but let me tell you, the greater the courage, the equivalent greater is the fear. Because the decision you are almost making can cost lives. You must have some fear in you. Therefore, it matters. Leadership matters. It has been, it is, it will be. Because people will be looking for purpose. People will be looking for someone who cares. Because people will be looking what they want, and they want to be associated with a sense of belonging. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to leave these words with you as I conclude. Leadership matters because it affects your faith. It affects your belief system. Gondo unjinea iyo itu. Kondo ungebarangalia ibarangaloni. In 1971, because I had not gone to school, so I used to tend the cows and bush of my parents. I used to be faster than I am now, but still rolling on the ground. But we used to stay, we come and take a shower in Jeptonglo, in one of the dams. Then there was an old man who was a witch. He became my friend. And because he's my role model, he's elder, he began to teach me to sing songs. Jibobonik, the one for... yeah. So I came home in the evening one day. So Mama was cooking, and I began to sing the song. My friend, Mama, I can stop cooking and say, he removed, there is a a type of wood which is used in coloring milk. You know, that's a hardwood. That one is a bit mild. Sosionde ni ya kuosha. Lakini ite neginese zote, my friend. Anyway, niliona moto. I did not sing again, and I'm not about to sing it, but I have not forgotten it. Leaders matters because it affects your faith. Leaders, for example, somebody said, including politicians, government officials, and managers, may serve and lead from the front, and they do so as role models in what the society will consider as appropriate, and may thus shape their followers' beliefs about the behavior of others and society in general. I'm not talking about perfection. Yani, Gele, you are an angel. I'm not talking about producing church elders, although among the leaders you get church elders. I'm not talking about priests who are dictated by the sacrifices they made for people. But David, when God wrote his eulogy, there are two people who wrote the eulogy of David. One was God himself. This is what he said. David was a man after my own heart. Do you think about David? You think about David? He never lost the moral compass, and he never guided his people away from trust in God, even in his weaknesses. So I'm not looking for a super human being in you, but I'm looking for an influence of moral values in society. Governor is my friend for a long time, even when he was working with the help, and he kila kwamba boy na giyoktoi boyship. During a very serious moment of 1997, and my community, the Lembus, were moving out of Kano to join DB. They will say to DB! Now he was sent to look for the top leaders of the community. He went round. But he remembers that Moi, why Baringo is strong with Christianity, is that Moi never failed to go to church as a president. He was leading us. You cannot be empty. So even you learn to guide your people to where they can fear God. If you are a Muslim, be in the mosque on Friday. You are a Christian, be in the church on Sunday. Of course, as a governor would like to be everywhere, every church, to make sure he's making all of us comfortable. But society will respect you when you have a constant church and you come to ours once in a blue moon. Yeah, people are fair. Don't think they demand, but they want to see you going there. So you are telling them, yaga go ngale na buchamu biga olimbanos maliana gorom gido ele yaga go chas igur mungu. This is how you can guide the society, so that people don't look at you when they discover you are as weak as they are. They give up as a society and commit suicide, and they go for alcohol, they go for drugs. Tell them there is God. That is how Mzee nurtured and created an epitome of educational center in Kabarak. Produce what you call Kabarak's phenomena, where we have had professors, what you call educationists, administrators, people who, even today, I think, Governor, you still feel the impact of Kabarak radiating. And it is really, we have so many people. It's like the employment caused by Kimngeno Aramngeny, Agmea Chalagat. It was a phenomenon, you know, when they empowered our people, taking 10% from the president gives Kogon, Poyot Kolo, Chugabo, Uribembi. That's why we are what we are today. Let us lead with values. Let us lead with values. I don't know how you take it, because there is no way you can empower people unless you speak to their emotions. And then unless you speak to their, what we call the belief systems. If you do that, you lead with faith in mind, what you will do is that you will connect the people to their past. It becomes, you give them anchorage on which they can be sustained. And what you are encouraging is a sense of belonging. So legito abane kabanu korenyu ko sajo aine ko sajin moyot ko tambrirse I am Mil James. No, he says it until he's shaking. Don't feel shy about it. Abaga barao. Pag basiso. You know, that kind of thing. It holds you morally. And it does the following. It stabilizes you and stabilizes the present, even when you are making decisions as you guide your people. It also gives you the confidence to face the future. I still have a home where I belong. Yeah, and it was allowed even in our society when women are married off, because we are patriarchal society. They were allowed, when they are feeling they are in a dead end, they should invoke the name of their father or the brother whom they follow each other, or the mother, mostly the brother or the father or the uncle. But men were allowed to invoke the name of their mother. You have heard me many times talk about about Talai. You know, you speak when you hear somebody speak in the name of the mother, things have reached there. So usually they say, don't go across them, because they can nice a pit away. You know that sense of belonging. So as a leader, if you want to strengthen your governance and your capacity to meet your people, be able to inculcate the issues of faith. Leadership matters because it affects our families. Because it is possible to look for wealth, Felix. And we find that nobody will take over from us. And do you know you can be a politician and roam around and you take care of everybody and you educate everybody. By the time you come home, you have nobody. You find your son left home. You find your daughters left home. And you are coming to an empty nest. You are too old. Your wife will be told, Australia. Then may I appeal to you? Your leadership will affect not only the families of the people you lead, but also it will affect your own family. Take care of them. Take it from me. When I think where I came from and the things I did to reach where I am, I fear. I even don't want to start. Today, I have asked permission in my family Mama, you know, women are getting stronger and stronger. I don't know where they get the strength. The more we continue, they are getting stronger and I'm getting weaker. So I've asked permission. Please, Mama, what do you want? If you want this, I'll give it to you. If you want this, yani, it is possible to be busy with county and you lose. Silangwengu. You need to live beyond your generation. It doesn't matter if you have one wife, if you have two, if you have, just be honest and be a family man, a family woman. Be able to, and when it doesn't work, I usually tell them in Kalenjin, for example, and I think even the Maasai indeed, in Kalenjin, all of them, if the child belongs to the clan where the father comes from, and in the unlikely event that that family are not able to, the children cannot identify themselves with the patriarchal family, they are free in our culture to identify with the family of the mother, kamama. And they are kwa wajomba. And wajomba hawa watawafanyia mambo mawili, matatu. Kama hawa watu hapatikani tena milele na hiyo clan imepotea na hawa kujulikana, watapewa clan's right. And they usually say, tanyit, and they give another animal, but within the same family. Tanyit. Second, they are, for those who initiated them, who took them through initiation, koyotito. Wendi tumda. Amugigi gojindenta kugomo. And number 3, they could give them out in marriage so that they can start a family. So in essence, Kalenjin, the pastoralists, and other communities in Africa did not have a destitute child. So can you lead your society and make sure those values are inculcated, because they will come to you. You are able to encourage the chief, council of elders. Don't do that arbitration, because you will have a problem. It is costly in politics. Just what you need to do is invite the, you know what you do? You ask, where are the elders? And then before the elders go, you remind them as a leader. Some of them elders have okoten, they are professionals. And they walikaa Nairobi, maana sasa hakuna kazi, wamerudi mashambani. Kunyo kuekicha kikubo yopku. Lakini mengi tu kitesita ngokwa. But you as a politician, you are everything. You are the chief, you are the pastor, you are the everything. Because people, all the problems are coming to you. But apportion them to social strength. You may not have to remember me, but remember this. That leadership matters because it affects your family in 3 dimensions. Number 1, identity. It solves what you call identity crisis. I am sure you are facing now what families are facing. That really we are experiencing a storm in our families now. Yeah, depending on age. What will sustain them is the family values, so that they can identify the common important interest. A governor was telling my fellow leaders last night that never work with anyone who has no interest personally. The reason why in meetings you have to declare your personal interest is because it is believed and assumed that you cannot be a leader without a personal interest. Because you will be a loser and he has nothing to lose in case of any partnership. The best partnership is where every one of us has something to lose. And one of them is you have personal interest You have family interest, you have community interest, and you have county interest, and you have a national interest. And for me to respect you, koye itinye nye personal interest, I know you can save family interest, community interest, because you have something to. I know majority of you are Christians, and Jesus said, "Love your neighbor as you love yourself." You begin with yourself. So I'm not. I hope you are not mistaking me to preach. I'm not preaching. You know me. I'm a preacher, but this one is not preaching. It's to do with professionals. I'm saying there is what it does. Leadership and encouraging families will give your people a sense of belonging. The second one, you are going to get a social order. We are soon risking to lose social order because I am scared because of what I went through in Parliament the other day to call my grandchildren Gen Zs. I'm hesitating because there is power in a name. There is power in a name. Because you think twice. What does that name connotes? This generation is having a serious challenge because of technology. The fourth industrial revolution, which has digital, it was internet, now digital. The latest of it, because it has 3 dimensions. One is virtual reality. No, it is the first one is a virtual reality. There is what we call data, the first one is data, where huge information can be managed in a chip, where we used to build libraries and huge archives can now be accommodated in a chip. That is the first one, volume, in a smaller place. Secondly, is silos in the same data, that it can put them into compartments, and it is on a fingertip. Yani you are pressing it this way. And number 3 is the velocity, the speed at which information comes. So number 1, this generation has the highest information inflow and the most informed generation without capacity to process it. That is challenge number 1. Challenge number 2 is the virtual reality, where you don't have to go to the field any longer to learn how to pilot, for example. You only get into a cube of a simulator and you feel like you are in the sky. And you can learn how to pilot a commercial jet from the comfort of a small cube through a simulator. And the third dimension of this technology, in terms of the fourth industrial revolution, and how it impacts on humanity, is AI, where intelligence of a human being, the brain, has been simulated into an artificial being. Do you know a robot can travel with you from Japan to New York, and they can feel the form applying for a passport without the aid of any human being? And the form asks, are you a robot? Have you seen that? Are you a robot or a human being? That is not michezo. It is true. They feel it and say, I am a robot. And they work with you. You will only look at the way it is. It has no feelings. But it keeps on. And it uses the lasers. what this technology will do, and you are a leader to lead that generation. I don't envy you to be father and mother in this generation. I don't envy, and yet I'm blessing you to have children. It will affect the way we work, it will affect the way we live, and it will affect our economic policies. It has the following impact on your children. Number one, this brings what we call, because of too much information, the children becomes restless. They lack patience. And they cannot sustain even a job beyond 2 years or 3 years. We employ our children and you will see them leaving the job. This question of P&B, which used to be the pride of employment, is not with them. They go for contract. The second thing you will witness in these children, because of AI and technology, is what we call high sense of entitlement. They have the highest bragging rights without working for it. You sit in the room watching news at 9 o'clock, and your son walks from his bedroom while going to eat, because he gets late to eat. After coming home, he goes to the room and watches the gadget. Then he comes down, kama anatoka gorova, while you are seated with visitors and watching news. And he comes and switches the television off and start his own program. All of us, we are watching, and we did not ask him to come and shut the television. Huh? Number three, this generation has the highest dependency syndrome on technology. They are Googling out everything and anything, including they want to try and Google food to their table. And finally, this generation has a certain heart of philanthropy, that they want to make a difference in people's lives, and they don't know how. You can be surprised one morning he has come into your wardrobe and take all the clothes and distribute to the poor. Yeah? You will be surprised one day he opens the house and you find the whole village is eating in your kitchen. Yeah? This is what Albert Einstein said. He said, technology will reduce humanity to idiots one day. I don't think we have reached there, but we are soon. The final thing that I want to conclude as a thought is that leadership matters because it affects our resources. Baringo will be poor depending on us, and Baringo will progress depending on us. Don't wait for an angel from heaven. We can do it. Pananigurani amwaje. Agobore moni amwaje. Kiuta, let's make that decision and make it now. In this summit, let us agree that resources is one of the mark of a success of any generation of leadership. Let me read what somebody wrote amongst the researchers, and they said this, and I quote, "Leadership matters because it directly impacts how resources are utilized and managed within a group of organization, influencing efficiency, productivity, and overall success by ensuring resources are allocated effectively and equitably, maximizing the potential and minimizing waste, essentially acting, that is leadership, as a multiplier for the value of those resources. Quoting from scholars. Baringo, my friends, is a rich county. Baringo County has many natural resources, including land, including water resources and catchments, including minerals, wealth underneath, including forests, wildlife, and above all, people. Baringo, among our sub-tribes of Kalenjin, we are among the most agile workforce given in a country. Ale, kot kimache inyoru kiboitinik, biik chebo che serious eng tuguk cheyoe. Amamwoe ni aunye, amwoe ni kokas biik tugul, mami biik che resilient kou biikab Baringo. We are among the top educated in terms of literacy. It is only our brothers in TRT, and which they are coming up very fast. Very fast. It is, indicators are very good, the way TRT is coming. In the next 10 years, TRT will not be only likelihood of being number one in Galegab education, but it will among the top 10. Because of their resilience. I really like the way these younger leaders coming up, Governor. They are somehow moving away from the mentality of isolationism to proactivism. We want you to change the language of being marginalized. Don't do that. Devolution came in so that it solves that problem. You need a sub-county, you are given. So are the Iljams. Because of their resolve, they are among the some of the leading minorities who they are in the public service more than even the Tugans themselves. And I congratulate them for that. Instead of inculcating victim mentalism, go for proactivism. Moving forward, because we are in midterm, Mr. Governor, we need to have one more meeting as a community. We were in the Weston Hotel the other day when our professionals presented. The president asked a question through his staff and said, Baringo, what is it ne achievable onyoru araka agotoretok milele? What is it? Can you imagine? King Warmedit, Kimaje Begab Jamasusu, Agogi Genyorus, Taimaji Itane. Kimaje Jalio and the other Namnai. So we need to sit and agree that in the remaining, because I believe we are winning the election in 2027, in the next 7 years, yeah, what do we want and what do we want to achieve? Don't be on the side of saying, Dagi Buti, we don't need you here. Kimaje jita nele na saome esir kotorete Mungu. When we were doing election 1992, Actually, we are on the brink. We were losing the election. We had to go closer to the president and encourage. Your Excellency, from the spiritual world. And that's what I spoke to him. When everybody was mum, in the prayers, and which was true. Your Excellency, fought. My friend, we were losing. I will be Jeb Golenjin, we go losing. Majat ka tukul ko tare ne ko win. Kutu bisu ko le. Kisi remban, imaje gel ko lo nge jam tenge. Aleji iwe ni. Magi jam toge ko mamwa Mungu. Ke leji po yod. Tono ni Your Excellency. Give me go about it. And the man had friendship with the church. The rest is history. Mawamu se ko so I said in garara ne. Agoni. So yote vana ko skale. Yawle ni nyegi cho me ka magi cho me jaje. Mu ko sa ko maleja. Ana jo jam dege Baringo. Umoi wo, ngo sa se ba wo jige mapema. Mo kanya na jini ko jam dege. Amma jita ne barsut. Kije kabisa. So mayangale. In that 7 years, what will we do? So I want you to lead the leader as he leads us. Let us forget our differences and unite for a purpose and discover what is Baringo in need. Of the lake and create an industrial park, and then we ask our brothers from Pokot, between Pokot and Tiati and Baringo South and Baringo North and Samburu, can we create an industrial park here which we will bring industrial development and revolution for Baringo, including the one of the largest irrigation, that we take the water from Lake Baringo and pour it. We do irrigation with them. Is that what we can do in this area? And then we come and do what we call public participation and said majority of PESA, which we would have used in building school, we no longer need them. We are building almost enough schools, by the way. Too soon the population is reaching a peak from the Kalenjin community and begins to come down. In the next 10, 15 years, that population growth will begin to stabilize and come this way. Tiati will still climb kidogo. It is faster, going up, very speed. Hata na inaenda kufika hapo juu inakuja. So we can still manage. Our population is about 670. We are almost 700. I think so. 700,000 right now. We are occupying a land of 11,000 square kilometers. It means one person per kilometer. Yani one person in about 60 acres or something. We still have large land and we can use it to enrich our people. So I want to mention this. I know you know that underneath, because we have few cows, we have 300 and something thousand. They are about 400,000. Banyek. About 47,000. Jego. Kitinye nego about 900. That's almost a million. It's a million. Kejirek are about 200 and something thousand. And ngamia kidogo. Ngangiri ngamia kitinye ngoroni. They are about 5,000 or something. Kitinye kokai ganyo over a million. Over half a million. Now, we want to begin from the second process. And that is the one for using our animals to enrich our people. It is not possible. Galden toga keldo jidagoreti. Keldo en kila genge 450 shillings at home. Kwalda jita en dagoreti about 1,000 600, sometimes 1800, 3000. En kilo 100 nebo teta neiyoldoen 450, calculate times 100 kilos, inyoru siling ata? En teta 45,000. Kwaldaen inendet 3,000 per kilo, 300,000. The market nekikinyoru en Europe nekisignen president on the 19th of June 2027. 2023. I'm sorry. Nguka wenye kajakte. Katepso kusumbwana mbigi ni sayo te kuona ngai nene manenyu. Alipoti alena nakaso manangido. 2023 kokikisignen in June. Alengore nye. 2023 19 June kokiyotwe market 27 countries of Europe. Sikikoite mbanyek amu michine kasi en ngurono kologonech amu it is cheaper to import than to do taking care of animals. Kongot komanda tuga chechok komanda teta kumekwendi decorated. The reason why they are resisting this vaccine problem is because takake kerut tuga chechok kumekwendi tuga decorative. Kandoindet nyono mito kot orit kotinye bucherisiek alen 100. Tile tugab tiati chebo Ngorora, chebo Olimbano, chebo North Eastern, ako boisie. So it will be taken using the dollar. Keibu nyikole bendo en Kenya. Ko ingilache kolenjin komakitinye sisi watu ya ng'ombe, hatuna kitu inayoleta dola kutoka nje isipokuwa ng'ombe yetu. Sasa tumepata market. Ya kwanza ni European, ya pili ni United Arab Emirates. So when they took the sample of our meat, they discovered kulemita dudu ya foot and mouth disease and other tropical diseases. That is why a need for a mass, when the president came back to call all the veterinaries, he asked them what is happening. They said the vaccination has been erratic, and that is why we have not been able to eradicate. Hence, the government said, let us do a mass vaccination. It is in our interest. It will be per dollar is almost $20 or $30, $20 per kilo. How much is that? $1 at 130. Yeah, 2,600. And then they are encouraging what they call feedlots, which will now improve our animals. Iba tuga tamanenwega ega agenge. Iba tuga bola kenga kiba in the feedlot. Within 6 months, you have a cow of 300 kilos or 400 kilos. You multiply by $20 per kilo. How much is that? This is why we are saying we must vaccinate our animals. I want to mention this to you as I close on this point, is that we have minerals in Baringo. One Muzungu told me the rubies that we have here in Marigat, the brown one, is worth over $1 billion. That is almost 130 billion Kenya shillings. But because of prospective trajectory that was, some private companies have already owned it. So, Governor, we are not scaring anyone that we want the government to take over. So we want anyone who has earmarked the resources that we have in Baringo, let them come and exploit it. So that the dues for government, the dues for the county will come. We have gold, we have rubies, we have gold, we have manganese, we have, which one? There are about 5. They have diatomite, and we have fluorspar and geothermal. The wealth underneath is enough to educate the children of Baringo if for free. Will you do it if we didn't do in our time? Will you do it? Mami besen, this is your country. Eme wang ni mami jine your job. Mami besen ta na gumwa gele ngangangi kisomata. Kwelde ndonyo kusute menya ngot kagare kurge. Obaluntu kugenga. Because if you don't do it, Wazungus will make us fight like this war of the Turkana, the Pokot, the Karamoja, the Oromo, the Congo. This belt up to the Horn of Africa, that war is not African war. It is a war which is waged by modern day neo-colonialism. As I speak, they listen to me. But do I care? That's not our war. As long as we fight the Pokot, the Kalenjin, the Tugen, as we fight with the, then they send their agents. They are mapping out natural resources. And in Baringo, Governor, I think Amuzungu told me, he was working with this, there is a body which is working, which has this resources on the fingertips, which is, it's a very serious body. I will not mention the name. He told me even oil is here along Kerio Valley. We have oil there. Why don't we do it? And then the other thing is the issue of water. We have water catchment on the Tugen Hills. Rengengien Sururian Tugen. Kutumjin Pek Mogoswag Akturukwe. Tons of water. If we can invest on that and we can say, Governor, don't waste your time doing other things. We pay mshahara ya watu na ile madeni kidogo iko namna hii, but let us concentrate on harvesting of water so that we can plant fruits in the entire Baringo. We will be able to take to the whole world. Why don't we agree? Nyege moye mengengen na hii inji yati tumwage maji ijae. You said it very well. Mwage maji ijae huko baka ng'ombe na kuwa kubwa. Hawa vijana hawezi kukimbisa. Tetanete moye ilabatina. Tena watu wenyewe wenye kukimbia wanaanza kunywa maji mpaka na kuwa wakubwa. Kama mimi na Lekakemon na nani mwingine. Sisi ratili kubwa hii. Hata Sialo huyu kijana yangu huyu na wengine hatuwe yani hata Lawe yani huyu tukikimbia sasa ufika hapo hawezi kimbia ila bote tetamgo lakini anaweza ile ng'ombe yake ya ravini maana ng'ombe akichoka hata yeye amefanya nini amechoka. Sasa hii ya Tirioko yani anakimbiza ng'ombe ambaye choki na hata naye binadamu hachoki yani bendi usire katoi pale toi chat hii ngozi yao hapana chomwa na mipa. Kwani wanafanyia nini mipa ile? Anyway, we have to have water enough. Allow me to end there. I have more, but let me end it there. Thank you for listening to me. It's one of the longest speeches, and I want to encourage you that we be one as Baringo. I encourage you. We have worked on our differences as members of parliament. We're working as one, and we believe in the direction Baringo is going if we work together with the MCAs. I want to admit that there has been a disconnect in terms of information between us, the members of parliament, and our county members of county assembly. I want to admit. But I want you also to appreciate as a real fact that immediately you are elected to be members of county assembly, you started also to campaign to leave the same seats and go for another seat. So that's a challenge in politics, you know. You say, but I've not said. But how come people are talking about it? They want MP. So I was asking myself, yeah, they also did the same. So it is pay time. Eh? Payback time, eh? No, but I want to encourage you. YMCS. So that is why. But let me ask, whereas that ambition should be there, I think it is a question of timing. If we start too early, then our own constituency will be more politically saturated, and we may face some march of resistance. So I think that is some of the threats, and you don't have to fear. Then the other thing, Governor, I hear, but we will say that in our in the Kamkunji, but I want to say you're worried kwamba maybe kuna watu ambayo wako na tikiti kwa mfuko kwa chama, and that creates anxiety in the whole system. But this is the fact. For now, let us focus on maximizing the 2.5 years and see that we bring what we don't have to Baringo. You talked about security road. I'm sure there will be an answer in Parliament and the county assembly. But let me talk about security road as a national government initiative. And we have agreed as members of Parliament with under the leadership of our governor that we have earmarked the security roads. What we did not have were resources. Now, as I'm going to share with you later on about the state of economy of our country, we are in a better position, and what is going to happen and cause a movement of development is beginning with this, what do you call it? This coming estimate, which is supplementary budget, which is coming. The government and exchequer is planning to release some money towards the payment of pending bills. And it is determined by the beginning of next financial year, we will have cleared all the pending bills. So that, and that will ignite now development. Parabareta Muchongoi, Parabareta Psoi, Niwendiagoi, Mogorwa, and then the beginning of the security roads. It is true. Who did say, I have not seen it? Mujumbe representing Tomaro, where the rubber touches the road. Yes, it has not started. I agree with you. But ma tauga muma misilinga boitanyo. Kewaga lakini maya. It is coming. And we have agreed on that as your leaders. And we have agreed, and that is the direction we are taking. So with those few, many remarks and many conclusions, Bongo missing. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Let's appreciate Bishop Makofi Mazuri Jameni. Kindly, I want Bishop to just hold on. Don't just hold on there. Let's appreciate properly Bishop Emeritus Mheshimiwa Daktari Jackson Kosgei. Tupige makofi mazuri jameni. Mheshimiwa, I want to say kuna ile ka feeling. Unajua kuna ile ka feeling you feel like it is so sufficient. You've represented the members of parliament. I want to have that feeling ya kwamba at least uonde ka mai ko changa moi ko barait piu to ka moi ke riaj piu aga patas na ka mochi at kai. But thank God this has God has been gracious enough to allow you to come in. Now, honorable members, for the satisfaction of more, I want to pick 7 sub-counties. The 6 sub-counties and 1 county sub-county called Assembly and another one called the Executive. In less than 15 minutes, a question to Dr. Kosgei or an appreciation. It doesn't have to be a question, but the burning one that, because I've seen online, the team, our brother, our men and women on social media, wamekuwa wakifuatilia. Kaya kamugenyo tinye most of you, watu wako na haja ya kusema. Kwa hivyo, Amgich Karanja kama uko upande ya pili, Nafikiri twende tu penye tulikuwa tumeenda. The representative of Tiaty would be
Not exactly. Maybe,
not exactly.
Maybe they can
Anybody
raise
from
their hand,
Tiaty.
yes.
Lorien achukue kiti ya Mheshimiwa. I told Mheshimiwa Kiprono of Eldama Ravine. Magarke girugi chuera chu magarke giri nebo locales agarke nebo Kiprono ko tebembe girgit na sila enge ko nebo locales ko na sila ko bir magarke girugi chu. There are two different pools. Na yarnes na nandume ko nandume atao. From the other side. Yes, okay. Yes. That is Baringo Central. 001. Sacho 001.
Okay, thank you. Mheshimiwa Koskei. We are very grateful kwa sababu umekuja kutuongelesha. And I want to believe that from this time, as leaders, we need to unite and go forward to make sure that we change Baringo. The only thing that I would request, Honorable Koskei, is that if it were possible, we need to know about those resources, and if possible, the members of parliament can sit together with the governor and look for investors to come and invest so that you can be able to generate income and also get more revenue, and this will make Baringo to grow. Because if at all we invest in those resources and we get, say, 2 billion in a year, what will make us not to construct the roads and the mega dams that we have in Baringo to ensure that we expand production of food, we expand production of maybe those things that are required by our youthful generation,
yes,
so that they can continue developing their skills. Because if we can be able to develop, say, each a stadium per sub-county because of those resources, what would happen with the youthful population? They will have a place where they can play, they can have a place where they can develop their talents, and therefore,
You made your point.
Yes.
from your presentation, I think we have a great future as Baringo.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Somebody else.
Thank you very much. Let's pick all of them first. Aya. Mheshimiwa Cherobor. Oh, Tiaty. Yes. Come to. Na tusirudie ile maswali mwenzetu ameshasema, or align your question depending on,
Yes.
make it properly. Yeah. Mheshimiwa Tweet.
Yes, asante sana. Kwa majina ni Mheshimiwa Tweet, mimi ndio minority leader from Tiaty. Mheshimiwa Koskei, tumeshukuru sana. Umetufanya tufurahi sana. Kwa sababu mambo yote ambayo umesema nilikuwa naandika kwa WhatsApp yetu kuwa it's like Honorable Koskei is telling me kuwa nimekuwa kwa hii kiti kwa muda, nimesaidia watu wengi kwa muda, nimesaidia watu wote kwa muda, lakini ukirudi nyumbani sitoshei. Ukiona ile mwaka mimi nimekuwa na nyumbani nimesaidia watu wengi sana nje kuliko kujisaidia. Hiyo imenishika sana. Mheshimiwa Koskei, nimependa tena kwa sababu umetuambia kiongozi inatakikana uwe a role model. Kwa mfano, wewe ni kiongozi na uende kanisa, na kule kanisa ndio watu mambo mzuri inapatikana. Unataka kuikwa haje? Mambo gani mzuri ambayo ungeikwa nayo kama sio kwenda kanisa?
Sure.
Yani umetufanya twende kanisa wote. Asante sana. Asante sana. Na tena umeongeza kwa kusema usiende kanisa moja kila siku. Enda kanisa hii, enda ile. Wacha uonekane kwa kanisa sote na uonekane unapenda watu wote. Asante sana. Nikipenda tu kuuliza kuhusu Baringo, na kila siku huwa nasema Baringo ni nchi ambayo ni tajiri sana, lakini ni usembe ndio tuko nayo kama leadership. Kwa ukweli tuko na kila kitu. Ukiona mheshimiwa kule kwetu tunaita Kaparion. Kaparion ni mpaka ya North Baringo na Tiaty, my ward. Kule kote ni diatomite.
Mhm.
Kila mahali huko ni diatomite.
Mhm.
Lakini sasa mpaka sasa tunaelekea mpaka wasee wanasema, juzi nilikuwa naambia wasee, jameni, tukule hii mawe kabla hatujakufa, kwa sababu wasee wetu kina nani na nani walikuwa hapa na walikufa. Hebu tujiunge pamoja, tukule hii mawe kabla hatujakufa. Hata sisi kama kaunti tukule hii mawe kabla hatujakufa.
Quite well, Mheshimiwa Tuit.
Mwisho,
Yes, Mheshimiwa Tuit.
ni kuhusu siasa. Mheshimiwa Koskei, ni mzuri umekuja, kwa sababu tunajua sisi hapa Baringo shida kubwa ni kuwa tuko ni kama ardhi na mbingu kati ya wabunge na MCS. Hata leo ndio wao kuja, pengine wanaogopa wataulizwa maswali. Unajua, kama tungewacha siasa vile ulisema tuache siasa, 2027 ni mbali, hebu tufanye hii kazi. Mheshimiwa Koskei, tungeenda mbali. Lakini sasa ukienda ground, MP anapita hapa, hata anataka kutangaza ile viti ya MCA kuwa yake ndio awe relevant ground. Sasa
Quite well, Mheshimiwa Tuit.
sasa tuaje siasa, tufanyie watu wa Baringo kazi.
Thank you very much.
Sana.
Too young to retire. Mheshimiwa Tuit, asante sana. Mheshimiwa Cherombor.
Asante sana our moderator. Kwanza nataka nishukuru Bwana Bishop, our MP, kwa kukuja leo. I think you have told us a lot. You have really touched our hearts. Yangu ni machache tu. Ya kwanza ni in Baringo we have a company by the name GDC, drawing water from Lake Baringo. I don't know kama MPs nyinyi mko na mpango gani kwamba hao wanatoa maji na kaunti hata wapate kitu hata sumuni moja ya kutoka hiyo kampuni. Number 2 ni kuhusu sisi wenye tuko upande ya the lower part of our county. It is like we are not linked to the highland side. We don't have a road. Like if somebody were to move from all the way from like Kibia, kuja through Juro, like kuja Baringo North, go to Elgeyo Marakwet. This is something that we need actually as leaders from the national.
Yes.
Mungetusaidia ndio at least tuwe na line moja ya kutoka chini mpaka huko mwisho.
Sure.
And then another question ile nataka nikuulize ni this formula ya CRA. Formula ya CRA saa hizi sisi kama Baringo tunaona kama tuko disadvantaged. Kulingana na formula yao saa hii Baringo wanapata almost 7 billion, but we need at least something like 10 billion for Baringo kuendelea mbele. So I don't know kama MPs, because it is like wanatumia saiti formula ya the highest parameter ni population. Na sisi tuko na ardhi kubwa. Na it is like ina discourage hii ardhi kudevelopiwa.
1 kilometer 1 vote.
Yes,
Asante sana Mheshimiwa.
so we don't know what are you going to do to help us as Baringo, because we have a big landmass.
Sure.
And then finally kuna issue yenye tunaona kama between the MPs and the counties, kama vile tu mwenzangu amesema kwamba MPs wakikuja it is like wanakuja kusomea governor na MCAs ni kama hawa ni wadogo na hawa sasa ndio wakubwa. So, na hiyo kitu ndio inatuletea hisia ambayo si mzuri, because all of us were elected na kila mtu aliomba kura yake na akapewa na raia, lakini mwingine anakuja kusomea mwingine ni kama yeye ndio mkubwa na sisi ni wadogo. Asante.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Cherombor. Naam. Baringo South. Naona Mheshimiwa Lemlem na naona Mheshimiwa Simba. Mnaweza kawa kama venye mnagawa, najua umeoa bibi mbili, gawa venye unagawa.
Wacha togawe.
Naam, gawa.
Ya kwanza Mheshimiwa, tutagawa mara mbili. Ya kwanza tunakushukuru Mheshimiwa Senator Koskei kwa mawaidha yako na kwa hiyo wisdom ambayo umetupatia. Ya kwanza mimi nashukuru speaker wetu. Speaker, sikiliza. You have made a mark. Because hii mkutano ilikuja kwa wakati ambaye inafaa. Sisi kama wana Baringo, hii ilikuwa nafasi yetu ya kuongea na kuelewana na kutembea kama Baringo. Baringo hii si ile Baringo ya mbele ambaye tulikuwa na viongozi huko Nairobi ambaye they can be in a position ya president na kadhalika. Saa hii hakuna kitu huko. Iko tu kama ya kawaida lakini hatuna. So tungeongea hapa tuone vile tungeelekea kama wana Baringo. So Mheshimiwa Koskei, mimi nimesimama kwa mambo tatu. Kwamba chukua hiyo nafasi. Hebu ulete umoja pamoja na hawa viongozi ambao wako hapa. Hawa MPs wawache kiburi na wakuje tukae pamoja tuongee kama Baringo. Most of them were MCS, tulikuwa pamoja. Mheshimiwa Maklab, Mheshimiwa Kamren, Mheshimiwa Kamke, tulikuwa pamoja nyumba moja. Isipokuwa walibarikiwa wakaenda huko wakawacha sisi hapa. So we are not lesser members. Tunataka tuungane sasa, tuone Baringo how we can get cake ya Nairobi ya Kenya kama wana Baringo. Hiyo ndio kitu ya kwanza tunataka. Ya pili, kila county inahitajika ipiganie resources. Na resource ya kwanza ni resource ya uongozi. 2017 na 2024 tulipewa sub-counties, locations, tulipewa counties kama kuna probability ya county ya Tiati, na tuko na hii ya Baringo, tuko na sub-county several, tuko na location several. Hizo ikikuja, inakuja na resources na itatakuwa na viongozi wengi na tutaendelea na tutafeel kwamba tuko mahali kama Baringo. Hiyo ni moja. Ya pili, Mheshimiwa, let me just call you senator kwa sababu wewe sasa umekuwa katikati ya hii watu yote hii. Kuna pesa ambaye sisi Baringo hatujapata na tumepewa. This equalization fund. Na equalization fund inge improve sisi na improve maendeleo yetu twende mbele. Unaona haijawahi kuja, na kama inakuja kama tuko katikati ya miaka karibu ishe.
Mheshimiwa.
So tunaomba hiyo equalization fund at least ile saa inahitajika kuja ni ile ya 2022 2023.
Fine, you made your point.
So I wanted to say that. Aya, mwenzangu ameongea mambo ya resource envelope ya CRA, sitarudia hapo.
Asante sana.
Kitu nilikuwa nataka ya mwisho.
Naam.
Ya mwisho ni kwamba direction kama hii ya Green Industrial Park, direction kama hii ya resources iko underground, direction kama vile tutatumia hii maji. Let us change the dynamics ya politics ya Baringo. Let us think economically na vile tutaweza kuwa mbali kwa mali yetu. Asante sana.
Very good. Mheshimiwa Eldama Ravin, Mheshimiwa Sharon Keter.
Hello.
Eldama Ravin. Mogoti.
Baringo South hatukuwa tumekamilisha. We were sharing that time.
Kwa ufupi tu Mheshimiwa.
Kwa ufupi sana.
No.
Kwanza kabisa nataka kukushukuru Bishop, umetuzungumzia vyema sana. Mimi niko na swali ya kwanza.
Sure.
Ni kusema Mheshimiwa kuwa kuna mambo mawili nimechukua kutoka kwako. Jambo la kwanza ulisema wakati president aliwaita Baringo leaders pamoja na professionals, akauliza ni nini naweza kuwafanyia Baringo ili maisha yenyu ibadilike. Mtu wa Baringo akashika kichwa. That means there's a missing link. Number two,
yes.
Mheshimiwa, ulisema jambo la muhimu sana. The issue of water harvesting. God has given us the Tuken Hills that is facing to the other side and this other side. And also the Haraban all the way. I can tell you, Senator, that is the game changer for Baringo.
Yes.
We don't want mega dams, we want medium dams. Strategically along those areas and strategically along this, and it will change our life.
Yes,
Finally, ni jambo hili. In Baringo, we are 7 in 1. We have the governor who is taking care of devolution, and we have the 6 members of parliament. Every member of parliament will hunt for their sub-county. Who is our link directly to the president? Is it the governor? Is it the senator? Is it the MPs? Who? That is the missing link. Otherwise, ombi langu bwana senator,
yes,
kuwa wewe ukiwa umekuwa mchungaji, umekuwa baba na umekuwa mtu ambaye unapenda Baringo sana. utusaidie tujue who is our link to the president. What is our share
Yes.
of the 85%
Naam.
in the national government? How much did we get last year,
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Lemlem.
the other year,
Naam.
and what will we get this year and the years to come? Finally, chenge Baringo bora
Asante sana.
kwa kukua moja. Asante.
Straight to the question ukipata microphone. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Kiteri.
Mine, I'll start first by saying thank you to our Honorable Dr. Kosgei for you've been very, very helpful to us today. And you came out very eloquently with a lot of wisdom, and I want to thank you. Secondly, I represent one of the youngest generations in our assembly, and I'm here representing the youth of this country, of this county. And if you can check, our theme of this year was strengthening leadership to improve governance.
Yes.
And I'm sitting here wondering if we have achieved that. And my answer will be, we are 50-50. We are not quite there. Why? It's time, as people of Baringo County, we start telling each other the truth. There's no point of mincing words and going rounds in circles. Honorable Kosgei, we are not new in this Baringo, and we've seen how things are going. There's a disconnect between the national leaders and the county government. And we are representing the same people. We are representing the people of Baringo County. It's not about the MPs. It's not about the MCAs. It's not about the governor. It's not about the senator. It's about Baringo people. Honorable Kosgei, I heard you quite clearly, and you said they are away, but you've had things in the grapevine, which I don't want to talk about because I'm a lawyer and we've been taught not to rely on hearsay. And let me just give them a benefit of doubt that probably they're engaged in serious activities of budgeting, and we are hoping that they're going to budget projects that you're going to see in Baringo in the next financial year. Lastly, Honorable Kosgei, I've heard you clearly saying that you want the governor to call another meeting. And I want to tell you, it doesn't matter if the meeting is called by Sharon Cherotich Keter. It doesn't matter if the meeting is called by the speaker. It doesn't matter if the meeting is called even by Tabrandich or whoever. But if the meeting is meant to talk about the issues affecting Baringo County, that is all that matters. We should take away the ego, the pride that the leaders of this county have. That is our worst undoing. It's the worst undoing. And I've been here for 2 years, Honorable Kosgei, and as a young person, I'm almost losing hope, but because I have hope in Jesus, I'm not going to lose hope.
Please don't.
Honorable Kosgei, the only time we've met as the MCAs and MPs is during Kimalel Goat auction for a period of less than 30 minutes. And what we talk about is, you can see you can see that we're not in agreement. And I can tell you for sure, and you've said quite clearly, Honorable Kosgei, that what we should really care about is our position as at now. There are members of parliament. The speaker is the speaker. The governor is the governor. The deputy speaker is the speaker. I am the nominated MCA, and I'm taking my role as that. Why are they worried about re-election or other people taking their positions? And I can tell you for sure there's no position that is made for someone. 2027, we might have other people or them. So let's just be ukwe na nini. That is what I want to say. Have confidence in yourself. Know that you're doing the right thing. Tuache kuflex muscles on each other. Because at the end of the day, fahali wakipigana, nyasi umia. That is all I can say.
Kibwagizo, mpigie ni mheshimiwa amemaliza na kibwagizo. Mheshimiwa Sialo.
Gumi ngalegenye.
Migumle kul.
Yes, Mheshimiwa Bishop Kosgei.
Yes, please.
nachukua nafasi hii kukushukuru sana kwa sababu ya hekima ambayo umeweza kutupatia. We are really grateful for the wisdom that you've shared. I have some few questions, and one of the concerns is has been raised by my colleagues. It is about the gap that we're having as leaders, as leadership of Baringo, between the national government leaders, the county government, who are the MCAs and the governor, and the chief executive officers who are coming from Baringo and are in the national government. As leaders from Baringo, we feel like tuko na hiyo gap ambayo ni kubwa na inaleta hii mambo yote mengi. So sijui, according to your wisdom, how do we reduce that gap? Number two is I want to appreciate the government, the national government.
Tengeneza sauti.
Kwa sababu ya mambo ya SHA. SHA is working. I have a testimony about it. Na gharama ya maisha kwa Kenya nzima iko chini kiuchumi na wananchi wanahangaika sana. Shida mingi ambazo tumekuwa naye. We actually have two problems. One is about health, the other one is education. At least now the government has sorted the issues of health through SHA, but education now is very costly. Sisi kama MCAs ambao tuko ground, tunaitwa michango ya elimu kila mara. So I want to ask you, as a national leader, have you have a conversation about the cost of education in this country? And why can't we have a fully free education in this country? Because if our government can solve the issues of the cost of education in this country, then gharama, wananchi watakuwa wamefurahia na shida kubwa itakuwa imeondoka. Ya pili ni mambo Mheshimiwa Governor na Mheshimiwa Koskei is about these industrial parks. We have an industrial park that is a flagship project. We are sharing it between the national government and the county government. We've so far invested about 150 million to that project. Now again, we are hearing about a green industrial park within Lake Baringo. Mheshimiwa Governor, I want you to listen to this. We're having now another green industrial park within Lake Baringo. So what is the difference between this industrial park that we've already established at Kimose and this other one that we want to establish at around Lake Baringo? Are we not going to divide these? And then on the same issue is, why would the government want to duplicate industries across the country instead of having some few industries, different industries within these counties based on the resources that are found with these, within these counties? Like in Baringo, we have milk, yes, we have fruits, mangoes, and some few materials that can support some of these industries.
Yes.
So that is my question. Why would the government want to duplicate industries across the country instead of focusing on the resources that are found within these counties so that we can reduce the wastage of resources?
Sure.
Finally, is about the national government and county functions. We have functions that are meant to be for the national government and the county government. We have a problem seeing the national government leaders coming directly to the county to implement these functions and ignoring the leadership of the county government and some of us, and taking pride on those functions that are devolved. Yet some of us cannot even reach out to what they are doing through the CDA funds or even CARA. So my issue is, why is it happening like that? And is it that the MPs are even more special than the governors or some of us? Finally, I want to ask you, because you're a member of the sports committee in the National Assembly, and we want, as members of Mogoti, we want to appreciate the work that you're doing. We we got the sports academy. But recently we saw 2 adverts about the contract. So we're wondering what is it happening? If you can elaborate on that, will be good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa Shalo kutoka Mogotio. Mheshimiwa Kibrono kutoka Koibatek.
Bas, asante sana. Our guest, Honorable Bishop Emeritus Koskei. Mimi nimeshukuru sana kwa sababu the wisdom that we got today is on another level. First, I want to ask you as a member of parliament, because I'm speaking as an honorable member from Eldama Ravine, that there's an issue that has taken long about the issue of the salaries, the hardship allowances. Eldama Ravine as employees don't get any hardship. And when you look at how Eldama Ravine is, and parts of even Elgeyo Marakwet, Eldama Ravine 50% is arid. So I want to ask you to assist us, people of Eldama Ravine, if possible, do something as members of the National Assembly so that our people get a hardship allowance. Another thing is that most of our members have talked about the fights between the MCAs and the MPs. As a chair of water, most members complain that MPs encroach into the county government led projects on water. So kindly, if you can have a sitting as members of county of National Assembly, please.
Yes, Mheshimiwa.
Don't encroach into our work. And lastly, maybe ni kumshukuru kwa sababu ya kutupea nguvu. You know, most of us in politics, inafika mahali unaona mambo inakuwa namna hii. Leo, you've given us a lot of energy. You've given us a lot of energy. And I want to say, actually, it is true that when historians look back to our times, they will see the inframe and the impact we do only if we do right things, assist our people, and let them be better. When you are a leader now, when you leave leadership, at least they'll have something to say. So I don't have to say much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bless you.
Well spoken.
Now, Amgicha, I think we naona mayor time yako imeisha ya Baringo Central. Metafuna ama uko na not unless you spend less than 1 minute and then Akuro, because I want to give you to the Deputy Governor and representing the executive. Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Koskei, and now this dream people have about Senate. I don't know if they are mentioning it out of the past or the future.
I don't know.
We don't know. So thank you so much. I want to thank you for honoring this invite. And I want to believe you did it because you are a father, you are a man of God, and you made a conscious to come. And we've all benefited from your very educative moment. At times after lunch, we always feel something that takes us away. But I can tell you, nobody close Stephen and I for the very reason that you were able to touch on many issues. Mine is very simple. We want to appreciate the speaker for listening. I think this idea came from our mamas that we need a conversation. And we said, this is a seed that has been planted. This seed. We want this seed to be watered, and it germinates, and it generates what is good for Baringo.
I want to agree with you that we need another forum. And I believe the speaker has shown the way. And we want to amply ask any other person. Nobody is a lesser leader. All of us made conscious decisions. Honorable Mosso stood to be an MP. That was a decision. And he lost, and then he made another decision to stand as an MCA. And he won. Meaning, the idea that you are an MCA, you are whatever you are, is not our problem. What we want is to see you in a congregation like this one, so that we share what is very important for Baringo. Otherwise, I am looking forward for a very good meeting in a very near future. Today, so thank you so much. You're welcome again.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bishop Kosgei, Mheshimiwa. I think the train has left you, so you cannot board it again. Thank you so much for using words of wisdom to these members. Bishop, I only have a few, around 3 things I want to make. Speaker, let me say, you've listened to these members. And there's a disconnect between national government and county government. We need a mediation. Because the people we serve is the branded. And it's the same people in our county. And let me say this. One person once said, all of us come from Baringo. And Baringo is our home. And Baringo should be our business as leaders to ensure that we succeed. So Mheshimiwa, when you meet your colleagues, tell them we are serving Baringo. It's not Nairobi. They need to be with these people because these are the people who are day to day with wananchi. Kila siku wanaelewa mashughuli kwa ground na wanafaa kuwa pamoja. Ya pili, kuna jambo ambalo sio jimbo kushughulikia. Tunakubali mkao wa serikali kuu ni 85. Ya counties ni 15. Kuna hii fedha ambayo inaitwa RMF ambayo imekuwa kusaidia counties in the road infrastructure ambayo wabunge wanataka kuinyakua ili wairudishe kwa serikali kuu. Tunataka kusikia kwa maoni yenu ama maoni yako kama mjumbe wa Baringo, msimamo wako kuhusiana na huo fedha wa RMLF. Nikiongezea Mheshimiwa, unaelewa kwamba COG ama Council of Governors pia wameenda kotini kusema kwamba CDF si halali kisheria, na hiyo fedha inafaa kuja kwa county ili ingie mkao wa counties. What it would mean is MPs will lose the CDF to the counties, and as a county government we will lose the RMLF. Your Excellency, you will correct me at some point. I think I'll give you the microphone to make clarification on that. Secondly, Mheshimiwa, hao wajumbe wa County Assembly wamekuwa wakisikia fununu kwamba tunapewa waziri kwa serikali hii ambayo inakuja. Ni waziri na ni waziri wa kike. Na tunasikia kwamba kumekuwa na mfurutano kwamba sijui wajumbe wasio wanasema hatutaki huyu, tunataka huyu, hatutaki yule, tunataka huyu, sijui mara Makila kule, sijui Mkamkia kule, sijui Kamuren kule, sijui Kiborok hapa, sijui Kandia kule, sijui Sirma, sijui Chematia. Mpaka tunashangaa. Hii kiti tunaweza poteza kwa sababu ya tofauti zetu za kisiasa. Sisi Mheshimiwa, tungependa
tukae chini kama viongozi na tukuwe na msimamo moja. Kuna wakati ambapo our personal interest supersedes the county interest, or the reverse, or the vice versa. The county interest is more important than personal interest. And you know, if we continue arguing, that position will be given to other people who are more united at the national bargaining table, who can bargain it better. Nafikiria hayo yatakuwa yangu. Governor atarekebisha jambo moja.
Amend. The Council of Governors did not go to court on issues of CDF. It is the ordinary citizen and civil society who went to court saying that CDF was unconstitutional. And that is why it was, is it suspended? Or there were orders that it status quo. Yeah. The Council of Governors went to court on the issues of RMLF on a constitutional basis, that county roads and national trunk roads are separate, but it was envisaged that the road maintenance levy fund, which is collected from the citizens, be given to both levels of government, so that we can be able to use. But the members of the county assembly, members of parliament, decided in their finance bill that it be given to the national government. I think that is what he was referring to. So maybe. And even the other one, we are in limbo. These members, in their wisdom, together with the public participation for bursaries, the control of budget, in our wisdom, decided that this is contrary to that requires one arm of government to transfer officially one function to the other before it is released. And now even the court we went to IBEC and agreed that if you have got a fund like we do, you can proceed and release the money. That was agreed upon even by a controller of budget and ourselves. But then someone else, some activist, went to court and it has also been stopped. Something that is beneficial to our poor students and our parents who are unable to pay. So now we are not able to give out bursaries, as it were. I know that is a difficult question for you to answer. You may choose to answer or pass. Thank you.
Thank you for right.
Asante sana, Your Excellency. I want to give it to the speaker to wind up, and then we go to Honorable Kosgei. You through? Okay, now. Mheshimiwa Kosgei.
Hey. It looks like I have walked into fire. Several of these questions are related one way or another. I may answer them in terms of connecting some and put them together. I'm sure I will have answered your question. But let me follow in order. Our MCA from Sacho, actually, I discovered yesterday that is my clansman. He's asking about the need for unity, which everybody is talking about, that there is a disconnect in terms of the leadership between the county leadership and members of National Assembly. I was seeing it as superficial, but I didn't know that it is deeper than what we thought. We do not have a reason as the national leadership not to have a united Baringo. We don't have a reason. We don't have a reason. And I don't think there is any leader who has brought, there is no what we call a collective decision by us members of parliament that we have a problem with the county. I think an opportunity of breaking that silence and that interface suspicion has been missed. And I'm going to take up upon myself as a colleague of my fellow members of parliament. All of them are my friends. I have no one are we in any competition for anything. We are working together as a team. And I want to promise you, I will take it up as you have sent me as a concerned person. I know if we are united as leadership of Baringo, we will rise up. If we get disintegrated, we will go down. I will choose the first one. We must unite. So I'll support you, Governor and Speaker. Unfortunately, our senator is a bit indisposed. We were of the expectation. Usually, who is that who spoke about the link between county and the national government? There are two leaders who links up by law. One is the governor as an executive leader of a county government. The county government, Kenya is a two-tier system of government, and which is constitutional. The president of the republic, which is the central government, and the second one, in fact, you hear in protocol, we name the president, and if the governor is present, that is the second one, than anybody else, because that is the head of government, of national and a county. So they have done it in such a way that the constitution has done it in such a way that the president convenes a meeting of governors. Is it every year? They call it a summit. And every governor has a direct communication with the president, because it does on what we call a devolved system of service to the same citizens whom head of state is the president. The second one, who should have been working with you, is the senator. The senator is the guardian angel of the counties. He is elected to lead, to protect, to represent. That is why after you have done anything as members of county assembly, the next place is not National Assembly. You go to the Senate. Is that not true? In case of any grievances of national magnitude, the next part you're going, as we are involved in the National Assembly, we do the budget, we do the money, we can, those are the things you have mentioned. But in terms of linkage, the senator does. What has happened in Baringo, why you are not filling the Senate position since the inception of this particular county, is that between 2013 and 2022, our senator became a leader of a minority in government within the county. Majority of the county became UDA, and the senator came from a minority party in terms of government. So he himself found himself in a difficult situation, and then the governors that governed at that time missed his services mostly. Not because he didn't want to do, but even us as MCAs and as members of parliament, we belong to the majority party. We had some kind of suspicion, resistance, and we didn't have a time when we could speak as Baringo and say, let us put the parties aside and have Baringo as an agenda number one. We didn't have that time. And I think one of them is us as electorate to blame, because we changed the governor at that time. Then after just learning and laying the foundation, the new governor came. Before he learned how to manage it, we threw him out. So we became in a quagmire, and that is what became an unfortunate thing in a flow of representation. So I think trying to explain, that is from what we call reality. You remember at one point, because of seeing that particular confusion, was it 6 months after election into 2023, into 2020, into 2017, 2022, we had a problem in the first year, in that the senator comes from a minority party, and the governor at that time seems to be losing the ground. You remember that time? And Baringo was headed on the wrong direction. We had to come out asserting our presence. And you remember I made a statement that our nation became so mad on me, but finally they forgive me. I declared my friend Jeptumo as the de facto political leader in Baringo. Did you hear about that? I made that statement to allay what we could call anxiety in Baringo about who really represents us. So when that came, because he was leading the majority in parliament, in county representation. So if there was going to be any impeachment, he must have been working together with the county assembly representative. If there was any protection for the governor, it was going to be with the presence and the leadership of our senator that time. That is what we had to make it clear. It became a bit, it was a rabble-rousing statement. In fact, some of my colleagues had to distance themselves, and we never agreed on that, but it worked. But now that disconnect came. Now when we came to election this time round, our senator was doing very well in the national discourse, and before he could settle, he became indisposed. And that is why you felt there is a disconnect. Because the senator who is supposed to have worked with our governor in making Baringo leadership connected to the national, and I'm sure what you're talking about is the president. Is that what you are talking about? So I think he became indisposed. Let us pray for him so that God Almighty restores his health. He's just come out of the hospital. He's at home. Let us pray that he recovers well, and so that he can do the job. The third one is our collective resolve as leaders of Baringo, that we are representing Baringo and we have a duty to connect you with the national government under the leadership of Cheboy. He is a friend to all of us. We have I don't think we have any problem. And in any case, he has no very serious enough as reason to complicate with anyone. I think he's, in fact, he's the right person, in fact, to implement some of the projects we want to implement himself. This is the right time to make the decisions which are very hard, so that we can help Baringo. But I want to encourage you that I have heard you. You know, we are working with my brothers and sisters, and by the way, Chematia, who is women rep, will be with us tomorrow here. He will come. He has come from Mombasa already. And I think everybody's watching. I think people are listening to what's happening. They're watching. Yes, so I have answered that question of a link, and we are going to improve where we had some failures. The other thing, I want to connect it with the last speaker said that from you not the last speaker, but Kibet, when he talked about to support the speaker in this initiative so that it doesn't die. I wish to assure you that we will support this initiative, because this is what Baringo needs. And thank you for taking the bold step, Mr. Speaker, even when as much as I'm encouraging the governor, if you have, because you have an institution also, which makes a decision, we can use your office. The end of it all is service to the people of Baringo. If we say we use the speaker, all of us will come. And you bring us together and we work, because this is a unit of government. I think you will have no problem. We will only ask you to put it in what you call public participation budget, so that you can have a budget to hold such meetings. So that you can get money for such meetings. You will create it from somewhere, and these members can do it, isn't it? Then it becomes county, and then we can also work on the other. Minority Leader, thank you so much for and speaking kind words to my contribution this afternoon, that it has been of an impact, and I pray for you to be not only a role model, but be also the outstanding leader amongst your people, and be able to drive TRT with the rest of your brothers and sisters in the neighborhood. You say we can change Baringo by really taking advantage of the natural resources we have. I agree with you. You talked about politics. Okay. Allow me to say this. About politics, let me not talk about it while I'm online to this hour. But let me talk to you about politics more candidly when we go to the camera. And I will give you all, I'll be able to give the answers to the best of my ability, because I've been through it all. When all was happening, I was there. So, and where we are and where we are going and how. All those, and you will be able to ask those questions. Jerambor, who is that? Simon Soy talked about the GDC and Lake Baringo, and let me use the same to answer both questions, including the one for Cialo on industrial park and so on. GDC, that is what we are talking about. We want to take advantage. We agree with you. That's what we have discussed. That the issue of the geothermal must benefit our people. And we want to make sure that we take advantage of that. And one of the things that we feel it's going to help us is to make sure that the lake itself and the water from geothermal become multiple in terms of effect in influencing development amongst our people to benefit the neighboring constituencies and by large Baringo. So I agree with you. That one, you don't need more explanation, but to assure you, we are going that direction. We have agreed. We have had a meeting with our professionals all over. Those who are in CEOs, they are working in different sectors of government. We had a meeting with the head of public service, and we discussed the Baringo we want. We will refill, and there is no way we can work in isolation unless we work together with the county government and the county assembly. So the question of security roads, where you say you are landlocked around, those are among the roads that we would like to be done, not under the normal infrastructural development, but under security concern. In Tiaty and the northern part of Turkana, east, we call it Tiaty, Samburu, these areas of Elgeyo Marakwet, West Pokot, all that areas. Apart from other measures that has been taken in terms of security management, what has been planned as an elaborate master plan for that area with the help of the defense forces and partners, development partners in future, is to make sure we do four things. Number one, we want to open up the area by building infrastructure, road infrastructure. Two, to make sure that education is inculcated in terms of sustainable peace development. Number three is to bring in agricultural development in the same area. so that we bring in a lot of irrigation programs to sweep across the area, so that as we deny people their trade of working with animals, few and small ones, they go for bigger projects that will change their lives. We're coming for that, and that's what the government is coming to do. And that is one of the projects, God willing, and I believe that in the next 8 years, that is what we will do, and it will change. For definitely, it will change. So being landlocked, it will be open. The issue of KRA sharing, we have a problem also as Parliament with the conduct of the sharing of revenues. Some of the problems, we have a conflict with the county assembly. Sometimes we have conflict with the KRA, CRA sharing formula, including the this office where you talked about in the last you talked about the one who has taken the issues of bursaries, control of budgets. Yeah, we have a very serious problem with that office, but we are discussing in Parliament on how we can manage it and make sure that it is unlocked. I want to connect it also with the issue of bursaries and this sharing of revenues. But I want to give you two things that has really made it, even where you have rights, we have rights, and everybody do have rights. We had austerity measures that was instituted by the National Treasury in order to manage the runaway problem with our economy as part of the restoration of our economy, which includes the matcha of even parastate tolls, cutting some of the expenses, even us in Parliament accept necessary trips that is meant to benefit the country one way or another. Most of the trips were cut, in fact, cancelled, even trips that we used to go. So several of them has really had to face it because of the austerity measures that was taken. So I can answer that, but I want to respond to one thing which has been repeated, and that is about the mutual respect. It has come across, and I want to give you undertaking as a leader, and as one of you, and as an elder. We respect each other. They are my colleagues. I want to commit before you that I have heard you, and we will have a discussion. Because it is not about us, it is about the people that we represent. Thank you. The others, Lekakimon, you re-elaborately mentioned almost so many things, but you summarized what the rest of us have said. And I want to say the only thing I would only add is that about exhausting and making use of our natural resources, I think that is in order. We will do that, except the issue of equalization fund. Equalization fund, I think, is an issue that is being raised in Parliament, especially by our brothers from Northeastern who benefit from it more than even us. But remember, this fund is an affirmative action fund, and it has a time bound. It was 20 years. I don't know whether it is almost that time, but it is in discussion whether we need to expand the timing of it. But meanwhile, before that is done, it is supposed to be enjoyed by all. May I also undertake that we will, because there is no question about it, so that we discuss with my colleagues and see whether we are, and not us alone, even those who are enjoying. Lem, he talked about our priorities for projects and our link, as I said, and I think I've answered you. Sharon Keter, please, my daughter, don't give up. This is your country. Mistakes can happen, but we will correct them. A generation may fail to fulfill, but the next generation can correct it. So you have the possibility. You are the majority. 2027, be and beyond, you will be the majority. There is nothing you will not do. You will make a change. You have our blessings. Yeah, you have our blessings. So don't fear. This is your country. When you move around, kanyanga chini mpaka itetemeke, ukijua ni nchi yako. Jepta Baringo. Nengi bir kona ko mas marindet kona it kena gele nengunguroni. So be confident. The issue of disconnect, don't worry about that. It is politics. You have just come to the world of politics, and welcome. You will see a lot of intrigues. Sometimes you think we are going that direction, only to discover everybody has turned the other way. So don't be surprised. Just be sensitive and be agile. But remember one thing: you are in the right place and you are in the right country. Yeah. You drive around and see the trees, see the beauty of Kenya, and say, this is your country. Don't mind about shortcomings. It usually happens because something has missed somewhere. But even if it has missed, we are not lost. We are still finding our way to the road. So I have answered you in a more rhetoric manner than being specific. It will be wrong for me to take you into conflict. So that you get into conflict, you will not exhaust it. So, but this is your country. Tell your age mates. Very good. Sialo, the cup between Baringo leaders, I think the same question. We're working on it. I am so happy when you mentioned that SHA works. Thank you very much. SHA can be the only flagship project that will return this government back at election. SHA can be the only thing that will work magic in convincing the people of this country that this government has worked. So let us do it with all our strength and make sure we are registering. We have asked through the speaker to revisit, we have asked the Committee of Health to revisit and relook at why it has been a bit challenging to implement SHA in the country. So they have been ordered by the speaker this week to sit as a committee. When we are opening on the 11th, we are waiting for a statement from the committee to tell us where and what is of a problem in the implementation of SHA so that we can amend the law. It is in our strength. So we want to know why. Otherwise, it must work. It should work. And it will work. So, Mr. Speaker, so the issue of national government and county government, in terms of devolution, it is a work in progress, Sialo. There is a lot of, even, you cannot deny people a system, you cannot deny a constitutional process. You may win for temporarily, but at the end of the day, the constitution will win. So what is meant for the county, it will be done. And I want to assure you one thing. The president has no personal interest in terms of holding hostage what is meant for counties. He's so liberal. He is even asking questions. What is happening? So finally, you have a willing president to advise Exchequer, release money to the county. And also the law is on your side. So I think soon we can have a symposium of revisiting the constitutional ambiguities where it is necessary. But I think I concur and I agree with you. That is a problem we have in agriculture, in water, in health. we have a big problem which we need to sort that out. And it is disturbing you and it is disturbing us as legislators at the National Assembly. So at one point, we would like the county governments to write their scorecard also on how the Constitution is performing in as far as implementation of devolution is concerned, with a view of advising National Assembly perhaps to institute an amendment of the law on some areas. But I want to say we are facing a challenge, and it is a worldwide problem on matters health, because policies are changing in the world, affected by the change of governments and countries that are taking themselves upon themselves a responsibility of being the big brother. They have now begun becoming weak brother, and they are no longer big after all. So some smaller brothers are rising up, and this will change the way we do things in WHO. You heard last week or this week, Trump has withdrawn many supports to WHO. You know, canceled some of they have canceled their support to USAID. They have already recalled some of the very strategic, intelligent persons all over the world. It is going to affect the country, but that is America for you and others. The second thing is the question of education. You have mentioned we have two problems in education. Number one, we are changing the system of education, moving from 844 system to CPC system, competent-based curriculum. It has some teething and very serious problem. Sometimes we are asking ourselves, did we have to go that direction? Sometimes we ask ourselves, did we have a choice? And it is giving us problems. Number two is the expense involved. The government has been forced to employ teachers. We are at 76,000 now, more than 76,000 that we are employing. And that has weight in the exchequer in terms of what we call recurrent expenditure. So these other issues you have raised on RM and LF, what is my opinion? Yeah, my opinion always favors the county. That one is given. But it is an issue that is being discussed. It has not come to Parliament as an issue of constitutional consideration, but there is a conversation going on. I am sure when we meet the next time, I think with our even MPs and governor, we will discuss that exhaustively and have the answer, because there's something going on in terms of discussion. And I don't think there is already an agreement to one direction. But NGCDF, what is going on, it is in an advanced stage in terms of relooking it in terms of law. The issue of CS, you told me you can answer or you can give a hint. So let me give a hint. May I not answer definitely on that one. But on the issue of CS, for avoidance of any doubt, and listen to me, we had a meeting with the head of state in December as members of parliament from entire Kalenjin, and then after that we had our own meeting between us and the president. And he said, Baringo, I've decided I'm giving you the university. I've decided. And I'm putting it in Cabernet town. Now it was no longer negotiation, it is directive. We wanted to argue Gidogo. He said, listen to me. I said, Ondai University, Cabernet, Ondai Chipkondokyu. Another, we want to thank Joshua Kulei also, came in handy and say he's going to build, I think, the administration block. For one simple reason, it is not morally right the headquarters of Baringo County, established by our elders many years ago, to allow it die because it cannot progress. There are only two things that can lift a town. One is industry, and the other one is institutions of learning. In this case, it is possible to put one as a quick win, institution of learning. So, Gibet, what I am asking you now is to prepare to receive in the next 10 or 5 years almost 10,000 people new. Bas panganoe, sewage system, water, nini, inyo ibaye nebiju, housing, osagan mochongo, deputy speaker, mochongo supply chakula, ikuje upande huu. That one I'm giving it to you. We were in the meeting. Yani kilingi logu magi beach magi boy se ite bingwenya getel konget. And then all of us, we were there. And we have agreed with the president. All the MPs. Uto magas no. Kale all the MPs were there. The second thing, I'm giving you the CS. I go knock cabinet secretary. Amamuren. I go knock Kwany. Ya no damu shangili. Bas kologo ne saisek somok kolobo ibungai naik je suggested. Kibige ibungai naik lakini ginge ngololi kugi members of parliament kugi kichomnyechi. Ikichomnyechi gele ongi gochin priority some sub counties. Generally we agreed gele ngi gochin North Baringo, Baringo South, Aktiati, achege ingo. Korogi gochi ogeny President Brian. Keleji tai mutu ngete Elda Marabin ko sawa. Mutu ngete Mogotio ko sawa. Muko ngete Baringo Central ko sawa. Muko ngete Baringo South ko sawa. Munen Tiati anako North Baringo ko sawa. Tago gop kogo korok. So maminga lega of disagreement. We had our own disagreement gelengi gochi nano mguano ngano. Lakini finally we agreed that the president is the appointing authority. So it is coming. There is some reshuffles coming. Tomgo chelewan. Kiga appoint nje tai reshuffles are coming. Ogot koroita na mengenga na tienya ole ngengengengeng. Irabakta jau bet seginda bik chegai. So don't worry. Magugele kitinye vacancies ata. Na ngalala ti log na ti ko vacancy already. What will influence the appointments the buone for the broad-based government? Amugi majage securing power, political power. Engolingi bendi. So lagene Baringo ketinye CS Tom go walago inguno. Kayes ko kasi nye Felix ko to mo unji. Ane guys. Malek chote nyoko joy. Agoi. But ko mege yagen ne kawala kayo mege ne gororok ne ba jabu. Ko miye unaga president. Lakini ko ngeten ga ba ngalale ne moni ko giogasa. Chiongololi ko jigagi bwat, jigagi orurio. Aranyone. Governor Kateswe president one more level 4 hospital ke ganabu. Nendo ganabu 500 million konyo Baringo. And that is the Mogotio, what do you call it? Mogotio this. So you sub counties hospital. No tagas. Kitesini. Konguna. Those are the agreement you give in. Pass. Abwati alego awalu ngaliot fellas. So including the issue of bursaries and so on, we are not happy as Parliament on how the controller of budget has interfered with the allocation of money. So we will work together and make sure that it works. Yeah. Thank you very much. I have answered some of them. I answered with a lot of restraint. Others, kororongale maya ulimbota. Asante sana. Yeah, magtarengale manje.
Magitarengal pigini Bishop wetu makofi mazuri Mheshimiwa Honorable Bishop Emeritus Dr. Jackson Kosgei. Opportunity wa wiki kwa ndo na sere. Saya tagi itu. Kau jamun baba sere. Kamu mau konten itu nyemurin cenyu goni kote bengot kada botolot. Abang kan kalau murin ke kanyelat. Kuya mami wiri tebe ngor kat song itu beri isbiet ke. Aya mo kayo mo weji lemi tolot ponde. Ora bakini wa ponde na pigeni makofi Mheshimiwa wetu. Without much ado, because it's getting so late, I want to take this opportunity to invite the Speaker of the County Assembly of Baringo County, Wakili Vincent Kimboy, to come and summarize as we close this day. Karibu sana, pigeni wakili makofi jameni.
Asante sana ndugu yangu Tom Chepsoi aka Sirito. Batio inamalizia wapi? Pemwai. Yes. So tumpikia makofi. Yeye natosha eh? Tumpikie Chepsoi. Wewe ambaye hujapiga makofi nimekuona, kesho tambia umefanya ile kitu. So we want to thank you Mheshimiwa Koskei for the words of wisdom and the conversation you have given us this evening. You have opened our eyes on so many issues and we don't take it for granted. In our WhatsApp group, I was seeing members are saying, we think we made the right decision to have you here this afternoon. And I want to confirm to you that whenever I'm seated in the assembly, I've never seen a time when all my members are seated from the start to the end. And all speakers in Kenya, including the Speaker of the National Assembly and Senate, whenever we have meetings, we normally complain about this issue called quorum. And I want to confirm to you that the quorum today remained the same. And we thank you for that. That tells you you are passing wisdom, and wisdom was oozing. Today, I think we have learned so much about our county. And there are two things that I want to marry with what Bishop yesterday. Yesterday we had Bishop Cheptarus speaking to us. And today we had Bishop Cameron. And now we had Mheshimiwa, who is also a bishop. And I did the sound about bishop. So mimi nataka I see they consider me a bishop, ndio nipate wisdom. Because the conversation yesterday was, or even today was, we need to make influence. We need to change to be in force of influence in our society. And yesterday we were challenged that when you go to anywhere in Baringo, people will say when Moi was in power, when Bultut was in power, when Mayor Chalakat was in power. When you go, today you have told us about Mheshimiwa Kiptanui, Edward Kiptanui. You have also told about Mheshimiwa Bomet, Eric Bomet. These are people, great people, who were in Baringo at one time. It's quite unfortunate that they are not with us today. And it's quite unfortunate that we, the leaders who are there, or the people expect that these people will resurrect or reincarnate and come and do something for us. And Bishop, you have told us today that we don't have time for them. This is our time. And as the leaders who are there today, we need to do something so that we are remembered for something. So thank you very much. And you have also challenged us that, and Governor, this is a challenge to all of us. 2013, all counties started on the same footing. 2024, as we speak here today, some counties like our neighbors here, Nyandarua, did not have an office, but now they have an office block. Other counties did not have a level 5 hospital. They now have how many level 5 hospitals? So we are worried that unless Baringo will sit down, we don't want when 15 years of devolution will be done, people will say, Baringo, what did you do in 15 years? And that's why all of us are coming here and say, and our message is one, we need to look at that one thing that we will do. As Bishop said, he challenged us yesterday, when you are doing oversight, what are you oversighting? If all the projects you are doing is the small ones, that does not change the lives of the people. So perhaps it's time that you also tell us, Governor, that your vision is to have this thing. So that when we do oversight on you, we'll also oversight your words. That you told us, Governor, in like Pokoria, or you told us in 2025, 2026 budget, that is what you want to do. Have you done it? So that when we are not only going to do oversight on the funds, but we also oversight the aspirations and the aspirations of our county. Secondly, is to inform us that I've spoken to our MPs, and Honorable Kipore called me yesterday, and I didn't welcome him for today and tomorrow. And he told me that he's held up today, but he will be here tomorrow. He will be with us tomorrow. And to add to what Bishop has said, he has informed us that we'll have Mheshimiwa Jamatia also. We had invited so many guests for tomorrow, but also have confirmed so far. PS Engineer Tanui has confirmed that he will be here tomorrow, and he will be a chief guest tomorrow. Commissioner Dorothy Chemator Kimengej, Vice Chairperson. What's another commission? CHI, Commission for Administrative Justice. She has confirmed that she will be here. Commissioner Kipkemei Atich, who gave Bishop some assignment, he will be here tomorrow, and I hope you have an answer for him. He's the Secretary Water, Secretary Administration, the Ministry of Water. We have Dr. Lawrence Kibet, Director General, National Treasury. He has confirmed that he will be here tomorrow. We also have the County Commissioner, Mr. Sangolo Kutwa, who has confirmed that he will be here. We have also sent invitations to all directors who come from Baringo, all CEOs and MDs from Baringo. So tomorrow we are going to have a packed day. And it's my wish that we'll be up by 9 a.m. Due to the level of engagements tomorrow, we would want to request you to tell your drivers, aides, and everybody else that my brother Nyano and Amos will be leading us tomorrow because of the numbers we expect. We'll do some adjustments. So if you don't want to miss your seat, tafadhali kuja mapema, because tomorrow we'll do some displacements kiasi. So for you not to miss your seat, please tupangane mapema, and again for the security and drivers and all the other people, your aides, there'll be a session where we'll have to vet a few people so that we don't have so many idlers who will want to take advantage of this event and come and disturb our leaders. This is our event as leaders, and we want our leaders to feel free. We don't want it to be an event where leaders will say, I'm looking for the nearest escape. Leaders, you normally know that at times you go to a function, because of the number of people waiting you outside, you would want to do some gymnastics and live in a fun way. But tomorrow, we will have leaders, and we want to make the place comfortable for you so that we can spend the better part of the day challenging ourselves as leaders and discussing how to take Baringo to the next level. And finally, we have an event that's happening in Baringo next week. Kabarnet School for deafblind children are inviting us for Valentine's Day, that you share your flower with the children there. They have a shortage of resources, and the capitation they get from national government is not enough, and they have organized a charity walk, a 5-kilometer charity walk that begins from Kiptilit to the school, and registration is 1,000 shillings. And I can see this out when I look at this room, all these people can afford 1,000 shillings. So there's a registration desk outside here. It's my wish that as a gift, before we participate, all of us can register, so that we know that if I look around here, I can see we are around 200 times 1,000. The school will have 200,000 shillings by today. So that means we'll make a lot of progress. And again, let's come there on the 14th of February, 2025. Set aside some money, flowers. Badala kununua flowers kuyo, nunulia mrembo yako, ama your spouse, tafadhali. Get that money, Let's take it to the children's home. Kwa hayo mengi na machache, Mungu atubariki. Tutakuwa na kikao after chai. Yes, Governor says kila mtu afae red. Yes, kama kuja mkoa umefaa red, hata kama ukifalia ndani ni sawa. But ingekuwa vizuri ungefaa nje. Yes. So kwa sababu ya ilo ombi letu mungesomje tumda chief officers ak CCs anan kesomje tumda. So CCs na COs tafadhali after chai na MCS turudi hapa tukuje tusikie mambo yetu in-house alafu tuongee mengi. Asante sana. Back to you, Chepsoi.
Thank you so much, my brother. Mpigieni speaker wetu wa jimbo makofi mazuri. I don't want to waste much of the time. I want to Bishop to appreciate Honorable Bishop Emeritus Jackson Kosgei for this immense and very educative session. Want to truly appreciate you, Baba, and Bondinyo Bagolita Bondinyo governor. See, mambo na mambo ya relationship. Want to truly appreciate Your Excellency, and of course, Chitabe Bendanyo speaker and all the leadership. Chitabe Bendagne, me even we gave Kenu Nyare Kogo Bustago Yang Damga, Your Excellency DG, and of course all the leadership from the County Assembly. Want to truly appreciate you. And Bishop Kosgei, you told Honorable Keter to tour and take pictures and app therapy. Apparently that what Honorable Keter sometimes does. I don't know. It's the wisdom of the bishop. I don't know. Kiko rote bishop ripke. Bango kwa ira bishop anyungu ponde ka Sharon. Gurali na nenda gurtaga. We want to. And we didn't get much of our ladies speaking or asking questions on a very serious note. We didn't get time for our honorable ladies to make their contribution. The CEC, Madam Brispan, Madam Bartuin, and Maria Lucille, and the other team want to say, Mumepata CS Sasa, go nyoro, pora go tap kogo, naka bishop. And want to appreciate our good friend, the Assembly, for sponsoring this. KCB, Kenya Commercial Bank, represented by our lady Marilyn Soy, and our good brother, Mr. Kipchumba from Skyline. On behalf of the team who are moderating this event, Ndugu Vincent Kimosop, Chichibogab, Matulbuj Toldorob, MC Mato, ambaye anatoka jimbo la Central, na vile vile Amgich Karanja, ulikuwa kagemwa bishop ile barbar ngot kemu yenga barak, baron juga suwe girutu kantu na laga ko suwe tol. Amgich Karanja was with me emceeing this process and is an alumni of Kabrak. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you so much. We want to proceed, have a cup of tea. Immediately, our leaders get a session to come and converse with our Member of Parliament, Honorable Bishop Emeritus Jackson Kosgei. Let's have a word of prayer by Reverend Chelal as we exit. Let's all stand as we welcome Reverend Chelal.
Thank you, Bwana Chepsoi, Your Excellency, our Governor, Deputy Governor, our Speaker, and all protocol observed. Good evening. Allow me also to extend the invitation to Kabaret School for Deafblind, being the chair of the board. Karibuni Chuma, kuja na maua, kuja pia na mpenzi wako. Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you this wonderful evening that God you have given to us. Thank you because you are God, that you have led us through this summit, my Father, Lord. Thank you for the sessions, interactive sessions, my Father, which has been so helpful and beneficial to us. And Father, we want to thank you because you have led us through the speakers. You have given them the energy, the wisdom that God they have disseminated to us. Father, I want to pray that God, you will continue to enrich us. You will continue to bring us together as a county of diversity. Father, you will continue to bless our leadership. And Father, Lord, you will continue to bless the great people of Baringo County. Father, we want to thank you even as we come to an end of this evening session. Father, I want to pray even for the cup of tea ahead of us, that God, you will bless it for us. And my Father, Lord, as we continue with the interactive sessions, Father, I want to pray that you will go ahead of us. We worship you and we give you all the glory.
For this is our humble prayer with thanksgiving. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. And may the grace
of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen.